Hello? What's up?
Hey, Carl, what's up?
All right, welcome to Group Chat, which is presented by Run Through a Wall, Smelling Salts, best smelling salts in the business. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, the concept of this show is to be a hub for discussion of current snowboarding topics. We're going to talk video projects, clips, contests, what's happening in the industry. We're simply having a loose format conversation about all things snowboarding. And most of the topics are submitted by you guys, our Patreon members, and also via Instagram. So thank you for your submitting your topics. It's a loose roundtable format show. Our sponsors today are Woodward, Bubs, Hippeas, Dragon, Nitro, Autumn, Mammoth, and Oakley. So thank you guys for coming on board. And in studio today, we got some great guests. To my right, we have the General, a.k.a. Seth Huot. What's happening?
It started off.
Oh, we're hitting a salt right out of the gate. Oh, wow. I like. You guys want some salt? You guys want some salt?
Wow.
To my left,
Cocard, we know you love these.
we got Cocard, Brandon Cocard,
Wow.
and Desiree Melancon.
That's a great batch.
Yeah.
My eyes are watering.
Oh, new batch is good. Woo!
These are amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Kind of opens you up, you know?
Thank God for Run Through a Wall smelling salts.
Yeah, Des is really enjoying her experience. And then we also have Silk, our producer. Let's give Silk an air horn back there. Yeah, Silk's looking good.
They're great.
Looking very similar to the lab that we saw on Instagram with that bowl cut mullet hybrid. So, yeah. And we're recording this. Oh, yeah. Also, we're going to be calling Jeff Pensiero, owner of Baldface Lodge, and Jay Stone, who is product development for K2. He's got some stuff to talk about product later on in the show. But, you know, first things first, we're recording this. Today's a Friday. It's going to come out this coming Wednesday. But today's Desiree's birthday. Des, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Des.
Happy birthday.
And you know what we got? We got a special, we got a cake. We got a cake,
You got a cake?
We got a cake.
You got me a cake?
We got you a birthday
Wow.
cake.
I'm a cake eater?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
We don't have candles, but should we don't need to sing. Do we? We don't need to sing.
That's amazing.
No, we don't need to sing.
So at some point we can eat that, or we could also smash it in somebody's face if you want to.
You know, Chris, you getting me this cake shows that you don't know me very well.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. What's going on?
I hate sweets.
Okay.
Nobody hates sweets.
I hate sweets.
Really?
I love the cake. Thank you
She's
so much.
sweet
That's
enough.
really thoughtful.
Okay. Good.
Love it.
So yeah, you had a little birthday shindig yesterday, right? How was that?
No, that's today for the birthday.
Oh, that was today.
No,
oh,
it's
the
at
text
3.
the text that you sent was for today.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, we're making pizzas at the house.
Oh, amazing. I thought that was for yesterday. Yeah. Okay, I'll be there. Great. All right, let's just jump right into the show here. Maybe we check in with Seth here because you guys just dropped a new video, New Fandangled Phenomenon. Just came out. What's the concept behind that?
Pretty much, yeah. So this year we kind of had like a more of a product marketing plan for
Hold on, for the
content
people that don't
creation.
know who you are, explain what you do.
Oh, I'm Seth. Yeah. I do marketing at Volcom and team management, marketing, content creation, kind of everything. I mean, we're just an all hands on deck. You know, we got a pretty, small team. It's a big team. Like when you look at it, like all of the, all the people involved all the way across the brand between like art and digital marketing and product and everything. But as far as like, when you really hone in on people, focused on snow, it's a super small team, along with the sales crew and everything. Like myself and Kaylin Cassidy are, really focused on snow, along with a bigger crew too as well. But anyways, Skylar Brent, we brought him on to do a lot of our filming and editing. And we kind of went at the year really loose, kind of lined up some like team shoots and, just like, chasing down different trips at like Bald Face and everything else. And kind of the idea was like, hey, let's just do all the stuff that we need to like get our product out there. But then also there's going to be so many things in between that are awesome and fun and super fun. So we just mashed a video together, kind of like, the whole time it was kind of like in 2002, we released a video called Big Youth Happening Snow. So it was like Ryan Thomas, he's still, one of our creative heads at Volcom. It was his project. And same kind of thing. It was like just a bunch of mashed footage together, a bunch of art explosions and, just full Volcom brand style stuff. And the idea was to kind of like, hey, let's do something like that again, with this new generation of riders. So yeah, it just came together. We just put it out like a couple days before Christmas and super good response and it's fun and yeah, stoked.
Nice. Yeah, Skylar absolutely killed it on the art direction, and there's a lot of really cool nuggets of motion graphics and just the whole feel of the whole thing, and there's park riding and everything. It's just like it's not like a standard snowboard video, like trick in the streets, trick in the backcountry. Good crew vibes. But we got to talk about the ender of the video. You guys announced Cannon Cummins onto the team.
Yes.
That kid's he's got it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was kind of like not like a long time coming, but from when we like all right, Cannon, like you're on, and then by the time we like actually like put it out and announced it, it just all fit perfectly. The whole idea was like, hey, let's get you on a trip with the team, and we put in some time here in Utah at Brighton, like early, like this time last year when it was just crazy snow, and he was just crushing it, and he was kind of like bouncing between the Volcom crew and the Vans crew. And then, and then we had him out again for our spring trip just with the rest of the crew, and he just vibed so good with everybody, like him and Jaden and Ryoki and Arthur and everybody and Estelle. Like everyone was just jamming. So yeah, it was good, and it just came together. We pulled in some footage from Sean Lucy, like from one of their Mervyn trips, and yeah, we just launched a welcome to the team. It was awesome.
Well, speaking of team, there's a team rider for Volcom sitting to my left here, Desiree.
Yep.
How is she?
Hi, Des.
How is Des as a team rider? You guys work. How's your guys' working relationship together? I'd like to hear you guys elaborate on that.
It's great. It's absolutely awesome.
Nice.
I think Seth is great. I have a lot of respect for Seth. I think there are times where I absolutely scare the shit out of Seth.
Oh yeah.
I'll come at him with like, my like pretty firm business voice where I'm like, no, I'm not fucking around right now. I can like hear Seth's face drop, but I'm always like, we're good, right?
What did we play? What did we play the other day? Where you write the name and you have to charades?
Yeah, it's like a version. I think that we're calling it Fishbowl now, but it's
Fishbowl,
like a 3-tier series of charades.
Yeah, one of the things I put, it was like things that you're scared of, and I think I said like Desiree when she's mad or something like that, because that's real. That's real.
Valid fear.
But yeah, you design an outerwear for Volcom too, right, Des?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily like design the outerwear. I have a lot of influence on the fits, just because, that's been an interest of mine throughout the entire career is like, how do you find the things that let you feel a certain way and look a certain way? And incredibly like proud and honored of like that team, like Jackie and Pat and even Kelly now, like they just kind of like create stuff that I really enjoy wearing. And I'm noticing that it's kind of working because then you see like Mike Rabb in it all year, and now like Reed's wearing the new coat. And so, as, a female identifying person and like creating like women's outerwear, but then trying to make just outerwear to have it work and like see the dudes wearing it and like seeing people buy it. It's pretty cool.
Fuck yeah. I thought one of the things that was really cool is when you first got on Volcom, Volcom's always had that art feel, and you did like a collage thing, and that was like the whole, creative direction of the company really blends like art and snowboarding and lifestyle, and I feel like it fits you well with because you like to do art.
Well, I mean, that's like the craziest shit too, where it's like, granted, like it took me like 10 years to get on Volcom. And it was like this thing where like, cause Blum was on and like the art and everything. It's like, for me, I was like, I'm an artist. Volcom is like where I want to be. And so like, whenever it did actually happen, like, it's just been the coolest thing where it's like, I get to make whatever. And usually like Jackie's like, that is so sick. Like Seth is like, that is sick. Carl's like, that is sick. And like, they run it up. And it's like to me, like I say it to Seth all the time, it's like a dream come true. Like, there's these brands that like as riders you look at and you're kind of like, especially when you're like coming up or slowly getting sponsored, or even when you are sponsored, you're like, oh my God, like I want to be a part of that. And like whenever it actually happens, you're just kind of like, oh my God, it worked. Like totally. I ride for Volcom. That's insane.
Yeah. The most insane thing this year is like, me and Des were having coffee, and it was kind of like one of those conversations you might be a little scared of for a minute, and then and then all of a sudden, like we had this idea. I was like, all right, well, we need to make something for your outerwear line this year. And then she just sparked into this like creative mode, and she's like, oh, we'll do a home shopping network. It's going to be amazing. I have the total vision in my head. And like, and then it was kind of like one of those things, like I was like, I totally see this. And then like months later, there was like a big gap in communication. And I was like, okay, well, maybe this thing isn't going to happen. Next thing you know, we're down at Volcom headquarters. She's like head to toe in character costume. Like employees are just like, who's that out front? What's going on back there? And I don't know. You got to see it on our Instagram, but it is the most amazing. Incredible piece, and that was all her. Like Skylar definitely like put all the pieces together and made it insane as well. But that all that creative genius came from Des. It was sick. It was fun to watch that go down.
Thank you. Well, and it's like for like the greater conversation too, and I'll try to keep this quick. It's like. Most people know that I had like a pretty intense knee surgery last January. So like I had like 6 weeks in a stabilizer. Like honestly, it was like an 11-month recovery. And, having a pro line and no footage to go with like the outerwear, like we were kind of like, how do we sell the outerwear? And I'm just like, I don't know. Like I did my job really bad. Like I had an injury or like we want people to like see the stuff. And like and so that's like the beauty of being like, oh, how do you get creative to where like we can still market it and still make it work? And like I don't necessarily need to have the footage that goes along with it to be like the pro snowboarder aspect, even though like I wish I had the footage. Like I got 2 clips last year. Like it's disappointing, and like I want to do a good job. But then it was so cool to be like, oh, let's just get creative. And the Volcom's like, this was so easy. And I'm like, awesome.
It hit on all fronts. Yeah. It hit. Everyone was like, so many DMs, so many comments.
It was amazing. Yeah. And you guys did it. You didn't just do it. You did it like really fucking well. Where it was like, this is professional. This could be on QVC, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, we have an Instagram question, and this one is from Bunny's Diary. This goes for everybody here. What's your favorite art medium? Des, maybe you can take this one. Chalk and a blackboard.
Let's let Brandon go first. He's sitting over here quiet. Let's let Brandon go first.
First of all, the Grinch you just did was insane. We got to put a photo of the Grinch photo on the screen, Silk, because she just did a chalk Grinch at her and Chip's house. It's unbelievable.
The Grinch is sick. All right, so the story of the Grinch, like I was about to head on a trip to Helsinki, was in Mammoth filming, broke my back. And then, like, I'm like, all right, cool. What do I do for the next, like, 6 to 8 weeks? So it's like, Chip's like, oh, you just got to start making art. And, like, the most accessible thing is, like, at his house, he just has this, like, super cool chalkboard wall. And I'm like, all right, what do you want? Like, come on, Grinch. Like, what do you want? And then it's like, oh, there's a Grinch. And so we, like, put some Coors Lights in it, get the dog. Like, I'm really proud of it.
That's sick.
Grinch is amazing.
It's really cute.
Cocard, what you got?
You guys know I'm going to say music.
Yep.
Yeah. When it comes to art, like I can't draw, can't paint. Anything I try to like, I don't know, go from my imagination to like a piece of paper, it just doesn't come out right. I got to like label things and yeah, it looks like a 6-year-old drew something. So I'm going to stick with music. I like that a lot. That's kind of my forte as far as art.
Okay. General?
I would say to enjoy and look at, I would say painting, but I cannot paint. I guess like what I could contribute in an artistic sense, maybe I don't even know. Maybe some photos. I like taking photos, you know, like finding that right moment and like getting in your head and doing it. I wouldn't necessarily say my photos are like crazy artistic or anything, but yeah, I like taking photos. Or filming's awesome too, and it just connects. It's kind of that moment of art, you know, where it's like everything culminates. Like, well, if you're shooting like snowboarding, it's like the trick was perfect. They landed, the sun flare, the way the snow poofs up, like that. That's awesome, you know, even in a photo standpoint or video standpoint. But yeah, I guess it's kind of I feel like all my art kind of revolves around snowboarding or skateboarding or BMX.
I mean, here's a question.
Action.
Well, actually, before I get in there, Silk makes a lot of art too. Our producer back there.
Yeah.
Silk, I know you got an answer for this.
Yeah, I mean, music's typically been kind of my main thing, but I've been getting into tattooing recently, and so that one's a little more exciting, something new, something I have to learn from the beginning, and so that's really been fun.
All right, I'm gonna flip this conversation on its head too a little bit before I get to Des. Is like, all right, art, right? I mean, I didn't, Des. You could probably like technically speak on what it is, but it's like you can express art in a million different ways, right? So like snowboarding being a vehicle for self-expression, snowboarding is an art. You know, I think the first thing that came to mind for me was like, what's your favorite art too? I mean, like I'm in the process of welding this dinner table, and I just got it powder coated, and then I got the oak from the wood shop, and I'm gonna, you know, burn it and then walnut stain, and like that to me, like welding is my favorite medium for art. But then I started thinking, I'm like, is it snowboarding? Is it skateboarding? It really opens up a like kind of a, it doesn't have to be a pen to paper type of thing, right? You got a take on that, Des?
Yeah. I think what you just said is extremely valid. And then I think for the more like traditional forms of art, you can kind of dive into the realm of it being like a mode of communication. I think human beings have a lot of shit going on in their brains a lot of the time. So it's like you can do like your physical aspect where like you're building something, you're making something, like that's still in your head. You thought of something and you made it real. So like it can be like that thing where it's like you're thinking about it in like the material way where like you're still thinking of something and then making it real. Like that's your form of artistic expression. Like you look at dancers, you look at figure skaters, you look at snowboarders, you look at skateboarders. Like the act of like moving on the board is an art form in itself as well. Like I think it just, what it comes down to, like however you want to define art, it's like the individual just like embracing the label in a way where it's like, you know what, yeah, I am an artist. And it's like you can be an athlete or whatever, but it's like just that moment of like thinking of something in your head, like with the snowboarding show, like you think of a trick. Like I think Louis is a great example. Like that homie is an artist. Like he thinks of the thing and then he does it. And it went from a place of non-existence to existence. And that is creating. Speaking of art, though,
I gotta. Oh, can I speak for art?
Yeah, no, you can speak art, but
You can speak
go
short
ahead.
as well if you need to.
Yeah.
Oh, Blum's portrait.
I brought you a little gift, Chris.
What? That's my guy.
That's your guy.
That's my guy.
That's snowboarding's favorite snowboarder.
Oh, that's my guy.
Des painted this on one of our spring like trip. It was just like some crazy idea. We were just all bored, kind of like a weird down day, and it was like, let's go to this skate park and paint and skate and shoot photos. And Des made this. This was like a real life portrait of Scott Blum.
Yeah,
dude.
We just
You can have it
said
for the booth.
Oh my
That's
God, I
staying here.
love it. Yeah, that one might go in my personal office
There you go.
actually, because Blum's my guy. Okay.
While we're on the topic of art, you could definitely open your Christmas present now.
Okay. You didn't answer your favorite medium.
My favorite medium, I think.
We'll answer after you did that. I'll open
I
it.
think it's maybe it's a little bit more abstract. I think my favorite form of creating is like having the idea and then having the idea come real. So whether it be painting, whether it be snowboarding, whether it be movie making or like whatever, even sometimes like an Instagram post, like my favorite thing to do is just like watch it become real.
Fucking wise, Des. I like it. All right, I'm gonna open. So this is
There's some shit for Brit in there too. So
present.
you know the stuff for Brit.
okay. Oh, okay. Wow, we got a plant. What is this?
It's a plant.
Okay, is it real?
Yes.
Oh my god, what, like a grass type of deal? That thing's amazing.
Weed?
This is for Britt.
Oh, I love
Britt looks
that.
like she likes
I
plants.
love it. Oh, we like to burn. We keep the candles burning at the house. We got some saffron, jasmine, amber candle. Thank you, Des.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. And then the last one, what do we got here? This one seems like it's wrapped up real nice. Oh my god, it's fucking my guy. Did you make this?
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's Simon, dear friend of mine who passed away a couple years ago, and this embodies it's him on a golf cart, which is what he loved. Holy shit, Des! Thank you for this. I appreciate that. Wow. Thank you. And that's
Speaking
him,
of,
that's
I
him
think
right
I
there.
got the email for the SFK hockey pond hockey tourney.
Yep. Nothing that guy loved more than playing pond hockey, so we do a pond hockey tournament to honor him. February? When is that?
February 4th.
February 4th. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you, Cocard, about the new album that just came out. Well, you have two, actually, but Boyfriend Sushi was really fun to go to the unveiling.
Oh yeah,
at Sushi Town.
the release show.
Yep.
That was
and
awesome.
And you, let's hear. I want to hear you unload about your latest musical endeavors here.
Okay. Yeah, Boyfriend Sushi started, I don't know when their band started, but Harry and I started playing with them this year. We helped them do their first album, which is out there. It's called Rufus. And yeah, it was really fun. It was just kind of easy. Like, we recorded everything live and had those guys in the studio, and I think we knocked it out in like a week. And then Moses, he's the front man of the band, he moved away to Chicago and kind of did his own little spiritual journey out there. And I thought that was it. I was like, all right, that's the end of the band. They did one album and cool. And then he hits us up and he's like, hey, I've been writing all these songs in Chicago. I want to come back. I'm going to move back to Salt Lake. Like, let's record this album. So Harry and I were like, fire, like, we'll help you, whatever you need. And yeah, he came back with like, I think 10 or 12 songs. And we were just blown away. We're like, wow, these are really good. He just had like a bunch of demos. And so Harry and I stepped in. Harry did the drums on that album and I played bass. And yeah, it came out great. It was a lot of work, but I'm so excited and glad that it like exists in the world for people to enjoy it. Yeah, and then we played a album release show, which Chris, you were there. You were there too, Des. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really fun. We rented out this space called UMOCA. It's like the Museum of Modern Art here in Utah, and everyone dressed up. It was like prom night. It was so fun, like walking around and seeing everybody just dressed to the nines. And yeah, we played the album front to back and a couple of the favorites off the old album, and it was just an awesome night. Yeah.
I guess I got to jump in there too for a sec, because this album, Paper Trail, is that what it's called?
No. Why am I? Oh, it's called Player.
Player. Yeah. My bad. Anyway, the album, got it. Obviously, ski mat. First of all, I want to say Harry Hagen, who's the Van snowboard team manager and been in snowboarding forever, filmmaker, everything. He's a snowboarder as well. And then Moses is a skateboarder, and then violin. What's his?
Yeah, Ethan.
Ethan, ripping skateboarder as well.
Ripping skateboarder. He's insane.
Yeah. So band of like snowboarders and skateboarders in Salt Lake. And so I was going back to welding that table. I put the album on and I just looped it for like 6 hours in my garage, and it just got better and better and better. I'm like, how fucking cool is this? Like, I'm not like listening to my friend's album as like a sympathy listen. Like, I'm listening like, oh, I should, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I should listen to my friend's album.
Right.
Do you know, like that's how you kind of starts, right? You're like, I listen to my friend, but like I'm literally looping it and I'm like, it's getting better and better and better. So it's just fucking cool. Like the rant I want to go on is like in Salt Lake, there is like this cool kind of resurgence of people creating rad shit, whether it's music. You know, you guys have this music space where there's a handful of bands that come in and record. You know, Mikey LeBlanc and Rav and Harry have their band. You know, High Again's another band. And then you have people making rad art. And then you have people skateboarding and snowboarding. And there's this cool energy around, like, you go out to art shows and photo shows and music. And it's really cool to see, like, the arts and the snowboarding kind of coexist in this, and music in this special way.
Yeah, I think Salt Lake is really special in that way because we have the city, we got all the city amenities and all the music venues and practice spaces, and then you got the mountains right there. So yeah, it just kind of lends itself to this perfect little environment for creativity, and yeah, I don't know.
I like that. We have an Instagram question, which is good in the music department. We could all kind of chime in on this. This is from Ninja Nick. He said, "Who are the best musicians in the snowboard community?"
Good question. There's a lot of good snowboarders who are great at playing guitar, playing keys. So yeah, that's a hard one to answer. But we were talking about this earlier, talking about like Gus and Estee. They have a band. Yeah, they're pretty sick. I know Blatt is really insane on the guitar. Zach Marbin.
Oli rips.
Oh yeah, Oli's a crazy good drummer.
You play drums,
Rips.
right?
I play a little drums, yeah, a little guitar.
Silk D, the producer back there.
Yeah, I'm not on that list though.
Yeah, you're on the list. You're at the
Jason
top.
Brown. Jason Brown for sure was great songwriter.
Mikey LeBlanc.
Yeah.
Russell Winfield, Scotty Arnold.
Blue Montgomery.
Yep.
Blue.
Yeah, I think we're all just like pretty like-minded like that.
Brian Aguchi.
Wes
I think
Makepeace.
Dave Hatchett. Wait, what? Yeah, Wes.
Oh yeah,
for
the
sure.
Hatchets. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Dogger maybe too. I know Hatchets.
Dogger Wales on the
Yep.
guitar, like full metal. It's awesome.
What do you think that is? You know, Cocard, especially somebody that's really into making music. Like, is it this? I heard you say once, it's like it occupies the same space in your brain.
Yeah, I think the common ground there is maybe just like how when you're snowboarding, you're very in that moment, and that, you know, it's kind of why we all love it. We're just able to like block out all the noise like in our brains, like everyone's got it. But yeah, these creative outlets, they just kind of like really sit you down and keep you in the present. And I think, yeah, snowboarding and music, they both do that. Because if you're out snowboarding thinking about something else, like you're going to probably fuck it up or hurt yourself or something. And same with music, like, you know, when you're all jamming, if you're not in that moment, you're going to be off time, you're going to miss some notes. And yeah, I think it's just a really kind of, it keeps you grounded and it keeps you just thinking about what you're doing in that moment and not all the other bullshit. So that's probably why we all gravitate towards something like that.
I think too, like, you got to look at the ways in which like the cultures merge, you know, where like you're a pro snowboarder, pro skater, pro surfer, whatever, like you're filming video projects. Usually you have music in those video projects, you know, and I even think like whatever, all of the people we just named too, like being younger and going to these like events. Like I remember going to Holy Bully and just like we'd be jamming, people would be jamming. And like I remember when like Mike Raff first started playing music, I remember when you really like just watching you play Modest Mouse over and over and over again. And then all of a sudden, like, fast forward 12 years, like you're making albums, people are making albums, like Harry's ripping for multiple like bands on the drums, and like it's like it was this very natural progression of the ways in which the worlds collided. And like that to me is so cool because it's like snowboarders are so much more than snowboarders, just like skateboarders are, like we're artists, like we talked about earlier. So like the music thing has been such a cool way to like also see like additional vulnerabilities of like these people more so than just like the tricks that they're doing.
Yeah, totally. It's exactly what you just said. It's like infectious. Like you go somewhere and people are jamming and you're like, wow, that looks so fun. Like I want to do that. And it can kind of just like spark you to pick up an instrument and start learning. So when you are in those scenarios, you're like, oh, everyone's just hanging out, like playing music, like looks so fun. Like now you can jump in, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And then in the gathering too, you know, like just like this last spring at Brighton for the Millie Meltdown, you know, you got bands playing, people skating, people painting, and just kind of hanging out. People obviously snowboarding, and I think brings the culture, the community together.
It's actually really cool to think about it that way too, and like the energy, like you think about when you go to the space where you guys play music, like you're in there and it's like there's people playing music, but there's also people hanging out, sitting on the couch, and there's like some people drawing, and there's like this creative energy. You go to a concert, there's creative energy. You go snowboarding, and it's like when you get that like energy from being in those spaces, it's like a little place to foster creativity, or when people come together for music, and that energy is really special. Which I'm going to take this this opportunity to plug an event that we're doing at Woodward, January 6th, if anybody's around. It's called the Dust Bomb Ride Day Rail Jam. So the idea is the Dust Box crew, you know, Cooper and the whole gang, you know, I don't know exactly who's going to be in town, but from what I understand, most of the Dust Box will be in town. And then our crew, you know, the Bomb Hole crew, we're coming together for this fun event. Show up, ride in the afternoon for a few hours. Then we're going to have a rail jam. I'm welding all the trophies. There'll be an all abilities rail jam for some prizes. And then there's going to be a pro rail jam for some cash. And then there's going to be live music. So the kind of like what we just described, you know, combining, you know, music, snowboarding, community, all those good things that we love about what we do. So that's January 6th, no registration. As long as you have a lift ticket, show up and bust. That's kind of the thing. All right, let's talk headwear. We're going to talk Autumn. Autumn's a great company. Let me tell you why. Brad Alban runs it. He is a gem in the snowboarding community. Done a lot of really cool things. And also Lil Jeff, Lil Hefe. Absolute legend in snowboarding. So good people doing a good brand. At Autumn, their motto is style matters. So they have all different types of styles of beanie. They got the deep resi fit. We call it the surplus fit. They got the shorty fit, which you might catch Silk D wearing. More of a fisherman's friend, shallow fit. And they got the simple fit, which is right in between. They got all different styles of beanies. And they also have riders with impeccable style. You might catch Danimals, Canon Cummins running Autumn. Everybody knows their style's amazing. So if you want to support a great company and you want a great beanie, they do our beanies. They do the run through a wall beanie and then our other all over print beanie. And they're just, I can't speak highly enough about the quality of the stuff they make. So check out autumnheadwear.com and use promo code BOMBHOLE for 20% off your order. Again, autumnheadwear.com, promo code BOMBHOLE. Get yourself a nice piece of headwear. All right, we're going to take a break and talk about Bubs Naturals. Sean Lake is the founder of Bubs, and he comes from snowboarding. Ripping Snowboarder, went on to be a part of Forum in its heyday, and has gone on to start Bubs, which is an incredible company. So he still supports snowboarding by supporting podcasts like us. And one of the products that they make is called Hydrate or Die, and they're little hydration packs. And I love supporting products that I actually use on a daily basis. So they're amazing. You got a water bottle, you dump in some hydration packs in there, makes it easier to drink, keeps you hydrated. They have over 2,000 milligrams of electrolytes. They don't have any sugar. It's made from nature, not from a lab. It's made from all good stuff. So be sure to check out Bubs Naturals Hydrate or Die if you're looking for some hydration packs. And of course, the collagen. I work out with Jeremy Jones at our gym, The Sect, and he is an absolute monster. And he's constantly putting down the collagen. It really helped him heal from both of his broken legs. Stand behind both of those products heavily. So if you're interested in picking them up, head on over to bubsnaturals.com. You can use promo code BOMBHOLE for 20% off your order at bubsnaturals.com. Also, just as an update for later in the show, we are going to be calling Jeff Pensiero, like I mentioned. Jay Stone, we're going to be talking to him about product. I've been texting Stevens. I want to talk to him about tail blocks, but he's got his girls today, so he may or may not answer. And then we got some contest stuff we're going to cover later in the show. Bunch of topics we're going to keep ripping through, snowboard related. But I have one that I would love to get your guys' takes on. And so I got a direct message from this person named Ian, and the message said, And it was in regards to the clips of Mike Rav on the pavilion in your guys' latest Volcom video that I believe Skylar filmed.
Yep.
And it said, hot take, this ain't pro material and should not have been filmed. Could do this blindfolded when I was 10. So, you know, that was something that I read. I didn't reply to, because, you know, I do think it's important that in snowboarding, you get to choose what you like and don't like. And that's okay. Like, you know, some people love turning on groomers. Some people love cheese wedges. Some people love mini shred. You know, like some people love half pipe. Like, it's a pick your poison situation. But I think that this one particularly, I disagree with heavily in the sense that...
Wrong.
Yeah. But you're entitled to your opinion, but your opinion is definitely wrong. So that's how I feel about that opinion. And I think it's one of those deals where it's like Rav, you can, like Cocard, you said it in the lobby. I'd love to hear you elaborate.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think they can do what Mike does. You know, like, oh, I can do that trick. And like, yeah, maybe you can, but it's not going to look like Mike. You're not going to look like Rav does. I think Mike's a good example of the like forever imitated, never duplicated. You know, you think you can, but you go out and try that and make it look like Mike does, and you will fail every time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think like going back to what we talked about earlier, as a true creative, if you are like, it's how do you want to express yourself on your snowboard? And when you watch Rav snowboard, he puts his whole body into whatever. He's just moving around. He's just snowboarding and letting his body do what it wants to do. And the thing is with Rav is he can go to a hip and he can launch a switch McTwist. He can go to a jump. He can do a front nine. And if you know snowboarding and you have a keen eye for snowboarding, he has incredible board control. He can rip carves. He can pop huge ollies. His grabs are insane. He can do everything. And so if to an untrained eye, you may watch those pavilion clips, not like him, but the way he goes, half cab tail press, hop, back one switch tail press, cab three, and the presses are lifted and the trick's snappy. Like to me, like I'm just looking at pure board control when I watch that.
Also, when you see it in person,
yes, good point.
It is just, it's a different thing. It, you know, sometimes it doesn't fully translate like through the camera. But if you're like at a resort and you're like, there's Mike Rav, like everyone's heads are turning. You know, he's just out there putting on a show and he's doing what he loves to do. And like hands down, like, yes, that dude is a pro snowboarder. When you see him out there doing his thing, you're like, pro.
It's mind blowing. Like I've followed Mike Rav, like done follow cams. I probably have like hours of just unlogged footage of follow cams of Mike Rav. And when you watch him ride top to bottom, it's a full video part. It's totally unorchestrated in the sense like he kind of has an idea, but it's all really spontaneous and it's perfect. And you're just like, wow, that's a clip. Like when you're sitting there, you're like, that's a clip, that's a clip, that's a clip, and it's one, and you're like, I just filled a card and it's one run. Mm-hmm. He's absolutely one of the best snowboarders I've ever seen, ever. And I've been doing this for however long, but when you watch him snowboarding, it's like there's nothing like it.
I think it's like whatever, to go back to the negative comment, you know, this is something that we can just chalk up to ignorance. You know, this is like a statement made by somebody through a screen, you know, who makes a claim, and it's kind of like, oh, you don't know the history. You don't know. I do like what you said too, Cocard, where you're kind of like, oh yeah, like maybe it's not fully captured well through the camera, but in person you see it. And like that's another thing too, like if you've done it and if you have the eye and if you film the parts like that, this is why Mike has so much respect, because it's like we can watch the footage and be like, oh fucking hell, Mike, like there he goes again. And it's like some people get it, and then, you know, other people are just a little ignorant. They don't really get it.
Totally. And I think there's something you said, like you said, I don't know, when I snowboard, oftentimes I'm putting like 50% of my body into the shit. Like I'm cruising, I'm putting up a front board, I'm doing my go-tos. I'm going through the motions, but to the way he rides the mountain in person, he puts 100% of his being into that, whatever that spontaneous trick is. And that's something that's very rare.
And the way he does it too, it's like I'm not gonna say he's not trying, but it's like it's so natural. Like you're just kind of like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, and back to the art conversation, like if you look at his snowboard, like it's a paintbrush. He is just, every stroke is just meticulously perfect and completely unplanned, and it's his own style. Nobody rides like Mike.
Yeah, just because it looks effortless doesn't mean it was easy.
I mean, I guess that's...
he makes it look easy, but it's not at all. Like, seriously, you go try it.
Yeah. And it's also, the other thing, too, that is so unique is it's him. That I think that there's this thing I like to call finding yourself on your snowboard. And if you look at younger Rav, he was kind of doing the things that you're supposed to do as a pro. He was doing hard tricks on rails and hitting big kinks, and he still does heavy tricks as well, not to discredit that, but he was doing more conventional tricks. And he even was even kind of looking similar to Scott a little bit when he was younger. And he's just morphed into his own person, and he's found himself and he's just authentic to who he is and the way he snowboards. And I think that's the most rare thing. There's this like unwritten rule book of industry approved tricks that are okay to do, and nobody really has it, but we all kind of talk about it, and so it's so refreshing when somebody kind of like goes a little astray from that and finds themselves and who they are on their snowboards.
100%. Like, yeah, like you said, you used to be able to compare him to Scott a little bit and just like spot choice, trick choice, but not anymore. Like now it's Mike Rav. There's when you can't compare his snowboarding to anybody else, like he's doing something right.
And then back to like the point of like that spot, it's just this tiny little blown out spot that everyone goes to, and he does 3 or 4 or whatever tricks on it, and everybody's talking about it. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of the testament into like his vision. It's totally unique to himself.
I like it. Well, let's get into Nitro Turbo Take, Silk.
Welcome to Nitro Turbo Takes!
Brought to you by Nitro Snowboards and Canoe Alliance.
Nitro Snowboards has been building snowboard products, boards, boots, and bindings for over 34 years, and has one simple mission: to inspire people to get out and go snowboarding and support their local and global community by supporting the shops, the organizations, and the people who are dedicating their lives to this. Snowboarding is what got us here, and giving back to snowboarding is what keeps us here. The deeper the layers, the better the cake. Just like the snowboarding community, this season Nitro is releasing a 2-part film project, Layers: The Unintentional Culture of Snowboarding, a full-length 80-minute documentary exploring the different layers of the snowboard community around the world.
Okay, this is a fun section. These questions are from Knut Eliasson. He's the Nitro. He's I don't know what he is.
Nitro.
He is Nitro.
Team Boom.
He's team #Boom. He's a legend in snowboarding, cares about it more than anybody, and is the best. So he came up with these questions, and they're kind of rapid fire, but you can elaborate if you need to, and Silk will ask them. So here we go.
All right, first question, Des. What hand plant should everybody try to learn?
Front invert, but back to regular, not the flip.
Miller flip.
Yeah, not the Miller flip.
Cocard, what was your first snowboard shop?
It was called Porter's Tahoe.
Seth, how will kids buy snowboards in 10 years?
I don't know, but hopefully they just go to a snowboard shop, just like we do now.
They go to the metaverse and they use Bitcoin, and then it's on a screen.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Chris, what's a good looking sticker job on a snowboard?
Don't ask me. Mine are horrendous, but I like a lot of stickers. I like when it's like this kind of beautiful. I mean, you look at the office, like if you look behind us, and all this shit everywhere. I kind of am like, I don't know what that style's called, but I'm like
Maximalist.
I'm like a shit everywhere kind of guy.
Shit eclectic.
NASCAR.
Yeah, like there's shit eclectic. I like when it's shit eclectic.
All right, this is an all play. Bar up or bar down?
Hockey bar down when you that's a hockey term when you bury it off the crossbar. So I'm gonna go hockey, not snowboarding on this, and I'm gonna say bar down. You guys take it from
Good answer.
Bar up. I hate that thing.
I think bar down when it's windy as fuck. It serves a purpose.
Yeah.
Or if you got a kid with you.
I'm afraid of heights, so bar down. Also, it's nice to like rest your foot on the little thing. You know, if you have a foot cramp.
They kind of got rid of those now.
Did they?
Yeah.
That's lame.
Most places.
All right, we got another all play. Do you like taking a lunch break when riding the resort?
No.
No.
No, we're just not eating.
Snacks in the pocket.
We're
No.
not eating.
Well,
That brings on the like lactic acid. So
Oh,
day's
true,
done
yeah.
pretty much at lunch.
You can't
So,
stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get tired.
Yeah.
whatever Seth says goes.
What do you put in the pocket? This is my question. What are you snacking on? What's in the pocket? Hot dog?
Can of snooze.
Can of snooze for sure.
I kind of like those Lara bars, you know? They're kind of gooey.
Just nicotine and water.
Nicotine curbs the appetite, and then you're good. Just kidding, kids. Don't.
I'm not
don't start.
endorsing this
Don't
conversation.
start. It's horrible. Because then you won't be able to quit. You know what you really need is a bottle of Run Through a Wall smelling salts.
Yeah, that's
That'll
Because
do
then
it.
Nice.
you pop one of those babies, land in the parking lot on the big
Also
jump.
curbs your appetite.
Yes, I don't know.
I was
if
a little
that's true or
left
not.
nostril heavy from the first one, so I had to take it up.
Even
there.
it out.
Even it out, yeah. Okay, Des, what benefits does snowboarding have / offer for positive mental health?
I mean, that's a wormhole, man. I mean, you can just chalk it up to like the idea that if you're exercising every day, you're probably going to be a little bit happier. Snowboarding can definitely be a form of exercise. It's also a form of self-expression. It also creates community, and you can. Those are kind of like what are the keys to a long, happy life? It turns out that it's the quality relationships that you have. So I think snowboarding and any board sport can really facilitate that. Yeah, there's a lot of benefits.
Nice. Brandon, if you had to choose one, POW day with friends or jam session with friends?
Ooh. I'm gonna go. Gonna go POW day.
POW day.
Yeah.
Have
POW
you
day with
seen that
friends.
dude though that rolls skis with the guitar and the little jammy pack
I haven't seen that
at
dude.
Brighton? Yeah, he rolls around.
some
He's
notes.
doing both.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Smart.
Seth, what's your favorite snowboard?
Favorite snowboard, I would have to say the Matt Cummins Radrix. Like, that was my first one I bought. Yeah, that's my favorite graphic.
Chris, who's winning X Games slope style, men and women?
Steamer, Cleveland Steamer is going to win for men. Zoe's going to win for women.
Des, what is style?
Hard hitting questions for
Yeah, serious.
Something that a lot of people have opinions about, but a lot of people don't have.
Wow.
Wow.
There you go.
Timeless answer. Okay, this one's for me. Favorite thing about the bomb hole? The community, getting to meet everyone who comes in. Yeah. Seth, what's the strategy to a good POW day at the resort on a Saturday?
Great question, Canute.
Get up early.
What time?
You got to leave the house at 6. From the
So I'm
from
not
bottom
doing
of
that.
yeah, and then post up in the parking lot, put the boots on slow, get the fire pit going, go put your board in lift line, save your spot, and then just assemble the squad.
Assemble the squad. Okay.
We'll circle back on that.
Yeah.
Circle
it's
back.
Debatable. Okay, all play. What gear do you ride the longest? We're talking boards, boots, bindings, gloves.
Bindings.
Yeah, bindings, I guess.
Shit, I'm on a helmet for like 2 years, so I don't know if that counts. But
Yeah, that counts.
we're spoiled pricks and get too much product, so I feel like I'm switching it up pretty regularly.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong people for a non-sponsored snowboarder. It's,
Oh.
I think
it's
bindings are
everything.
helmet. Bindings are.
I'm gonna
helmet.
go with hat. Actually,
That's good.
I find a good hat. I'll rock that for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
I will.
Underlayers too.
Yeah, my ninja suit's going on like 7 years, dude. It's kind of gross.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I was like, actually, first layer is something I run like year after year. It's so gnarly.
Dude, JP Walker runs the same, as you know, Seth, the same forum bindings he's ran his whole career.
Jesus.
And he rolls with like this whole, like mad scientist kit because things break. But he's been running the same bindings for like 20 fucking years.
He said at one point, he's like, I think when these bindings are done, because he's on his last set, I believe. Yeah. And he's like, when I'm out of these, I'm done. Like, I won't be able to snowboard anymore.
All right, Cocard, do you ride with music?
No, I don't. I actually don't. I hate riding with music.
Yeah, overrated.
Yeah, you can't hear your friends, and it's really annoying when you're trying to talk to people and they have headphones in.
It's my biggest pet peeve.
And also, I feel like it helps to be able to hear how fast you're going. When you're trying to judge speed, you can hear the wind kind of a little bit. I don't know.
Just listening to wind.
Yeah, I'm just out there listening to the wind.
But if you're sessioning,
listen to the wind.
Like if you're sessioning the spot or something like that, and there's a jam box, that's pretty sick. Like at the drop-in, I'm down with that.
Oh yeah.
Just like a
Oh, if there's
jam box, boom box.
something coming out of the lift PA, I love that. It's awesome.
Definitely
but as far
no
as
headphones.
Headphones in my ears, no.
I completely disagree. I go full headphones, max volume. I only put one in though,
That's
so
the
that
pro
I can
tip.
hear.
Pro tip.
Yeah.
I can still hear while I ride, but for me, I get going to Bone Zone with all these kids, and they're just all doing their thing, and I'm just I don't feel good right now. I feel weird, so put some music in. You feel better pretty quick.
Yeah, I guess in that scenario, it kind of locks you in that zone.
What are you listening to,
Isolates you.
Des? You listen to Morrissey, or what are we talking?
Nah, I kind of passed some more. I haven't listened to some crazy shit these days. There's this band called Underscores.
When you're snowboarding, that's what you're listening
When I'm snowboarding, there's a band. There's an album by Underscores. I forget what the album's called, but it's just noise. It is just noise. It really helps my wandering, self-deprecating thoughts.
I do the same as Des a lot of times. I'm on no headphones sometimes, powder day, but park day, I'm headphones generally, and it's one ear, and it's not super loud. I can still conversate, but I kind of bump it up right before I drop in, and I put on some Future. And I don't know if you've ever, Cocard, are you familiar with ignorant rap?
No. Absolutely not.
Because it makes you feel like a cocky prick, and it just kind of works for me because it does something to me. You know? But that's my take.
I'm spoiled. I can't do the one headphone because you only get half of the mix.
Yeah.
I'm
it's terrible.
You only hear
I'm only getting high end.
right.
A lot of gain when there's only one headphone.
Only getting hi hats.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that problem with my skull candies.
Oh, nice plug.
Nice plug. That was great.
Nice plug. We got any more?
Yeah, we got one more. Chris, center of attention. What trick are you going to learn this year?
What trick am I going to learn? Holy shit. I'm not really in the learning. I'm in the retaining. That's where I'm at is I'm trying to retain. And lately I've been thinking...
We're talking retention.
We're in a retention situation, yes. So I've been thinking a lot about doing a cab 9. I've been doing a lot of cab 5s this year, and it's really just a little bit more snap.
You got that.
And so my goal this year is to do a cab 9 on something, even if it's a park jump. But I just want to do one because the cab 5s are feeling so good, and it's not that much different, really.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Yeah. I was watching Cocard ride the other day. You were ripping Switchback Road. Did you Switchback 9 the jump?
I did.
That was amazing.
Dude, Switchback Rodeo. I just learned that, and you were my inspiration for that because I'm always seeing you Switchback Rodeo. It just seems like the dopest trick for a step down or just a fun little park jump, because you're landing regular, and I've been picturing it in my head I don't know, for the past 10 years. But this was the year I was like, I'm going to go learn it. And dude, you know what I did? I went to Woodward and got the helmet. I was in my shorts. I got my boots on, and I'm hitting the foam pit.
No way!
Yeah. And I'm I'm going to do this.
Does it translate?
Huh?
Does it translate?
It did for me, yeah. It totally helped, air awareness and just okay, this is what it feels like. And then I, put my snow pants on and went out to the jump and tried it like third round. I was like, dude, this is awesome. I need to do that more. Like,
What?
just go to Woodward. And now I'm like thinking like, what else can I learn? You know? Yeah, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but
Wow.
the freaking foam pit helps.
That's amazing. I've been thinking about doing that for like 10 years, or however long Woodward's been around, but I've never.
Oh, it's sick.
I've never
You're
actually
like
done it.
sessioning with all the scooter kids and you're slapping high fives. You're like, dude.
That's your crowd.
It's pretty, yeah.
Dude,
it's
are the
my crowd.
rollerboards? I've never done the rollerboard.
It's sketchy. Like you can't really turn, or at least I didn't figure out how to turn. So if you're a little bit off, like on the roll in, you're just going towards like, yeah, you're set up for failure.
Just railroad track into the wall.
And I was thinking too.
It's not like the wheels that are kind of dished. It's like you're locked in.
Yeah, I think you're just pretty locked in. At least that's how I felt. And yeah, I was thinking like this is gonna be so dumb. Like I'm out for the season. I hurt myself in the freaking foam pit. Like I'll never live that down. But no, you kind of figure it out and get somewhat comfortable, at least enough to be trying the things you want to try.
Yeah, I got to go there and learn back rodeo sevens. That's
There you go.
The reggy ones. Every time I miss my grab, I do the hover hand thing. You know, I try to do Indy, and I can never get there with Indy.
Right.
But-
I think nose would be your go-to.
Ooh,
You should throw an event where you get the down bag for a session and then you have a jump next to it, and whoever can learn a trick that they've never done before quick enough and then do it on the jump the fastest wins.
The airbag invitation.
I like that.
That'd be a pretty fun contest.
She's on to
Awesome,
something.
yeah. Yeah. Maybe you got to like spin a roulette wheel and it lands on, if it
There you
lands on
go.
a trick you can't do, that's the one you got to do.
Back 16 triple. Here we go.
On the 30-foot Woodward jump.
See how bad our fundamentals really are. Oh wow, that was good. Canute, good job on the hot takes or whatever. We do have to revisit the. You know, this is a fucking hot topic. Leaving your board in the line and then walking away while the lift line fills up, and then going back to your board. I've been told in the Northwest you get beat up for that, but the general. If you see a Nitro with some Volcom stickers on it at the front of the Millie line in Utah, that's Seth. So you're not going to want to touch that board. What do you think, Seth?
I say run it. You know what I mean? It's like you were there. Like, I mean, as long as, I don't know. Actually, one time last year we did it and then went across the parking lot, go to the coffee shop, had a nice little coffee, then went back. I was kind of like, ooh, I might have been crossing the line a little bit. But usually you're like right there, you know? It's like, oh, I'm in line and I just got to go to the bathroom, or I got to like get a drink of water or something like that.
Right.
So, you know, if you do it tastefully and reasonably, I usually don't, I don't think I would walk up like first chair guy, you know? It's like, but, you know, I'm respectfully back. And if anybody was like, oh, like getting all harsh, I'd be like, go ahead of me. I don't care. Like, I'll be on the chair.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
I like it. This is just for what we talked about. I'm going to recircle back to a Instagram question from Maddle Boof. I think that's a French name. I don't know. I might have spelled. Sorry if I butchered your name. Advice for older riders starting to get in the park. Anybody?
Wear pads.
Ooh.
Butt pads, knee pad, shin guard.
What about the things when you go to like China and they all wear the like turtle pads? Have you seen those?
Those are sick.
Yeah.
Wear those.
Okay.
That'd be cool. I mean, I wouldn't really know. I just turned 25, so.
Yeah,
I think it's like, I mean, I can kind of speak a little to this because I'm just like correlating it to being totally way old and getting into BMX and riding BMX and starting something completely new, way past the window of life. You just kind of have to like, I think the mindset, you got to have the right mindset. Like, I'm going to do this. Like, there's nothing that's going to stop me. And then, you know, you got to start small, and then you got to find a learning process. Because, like, people just think, like, I'm going to do a 900. Go do a 900. It's like, no, you got to find the fundamentals to, like, learn and then do the steps to, like, get there. But, like, if you know it, or if you can get a clear picture of, like, what you need to do to get there, then you can just form a plan, stick to it, and get there. So, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do as an older park rider or riding park? You want to do 360s? You want to do like front boards or backlips on a rail? Like, okay, if find your goal or what you want to achieve out of it, and then find a process to like achieve that goal.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you think people are learning these fundamentals? Where are they getting their information from?
Oh, I mean, I'd say like there's like YouTube people that make all these like tutorials. I feel like I don't know. That's what I do in moto. I'll be like cornering techniques, and I'm like watching some guy teach me how to corner. And I see that in snowboarding we have that too. There's people that do basic like how to be on your edge videos that they pop up on my feed sometimes.
I mean, it's dude, that's another thing too. Because I know a lot of pros like probably hate doing trick techs or think like, oh, this is kind of lame or not fun to do. But in reality, if you have the right pro giving a trick tip,
Yep.
it fully can resonate. You know what I mean? Because like it was like, how to do a moto whip on a BMX bike on like a dirt jump. Like I found Chase Hawk. He's like one of the sickest BMXers of all time. Perfect style. And he did like 800 of those on this video. And it's just like, oh. And that's how you want to model your moto whip. But you don't want to just have like some kind of random, you know what I mean? It's like, so kind of, I don't know. It'd be sick if there was more like platforms.
I saw
that
Slush
give, like,
just
some
did
good
something
ones.
with
Freddie Perry.
Yep. Which is
That's
cool.
sick.
Couple basics with Freddie Perry. I do think that's kind of like a open opportunity for a couple pros who are bored though. Like, that would crush on the YouTube.
Right.
Like,
I've done trick tips that have more views in my video parts, like back in the day with Transworld
sure.
and stuff, right? You guys have probably done those too. But going back to the question about advice for like learning how to ride park, one thing I think about is, hiking. Like, when you ride through the park and you go on the chairlift and you just hit what's in front of you, like the things become a little bit daunting because, if you're taking 12 runs, you're only going to hit that thing 12 times. But if you find a little box or rail or a small jump and you get, like, I think us video part people, we get familiar with it. You walk around it, you sniff it out. You're like, okay, this thing's safe. You warm up to it. You can try a front 180 on and then a front 270 onto the box. And I think there's something, if you really want to progress quickly, I think, if you don't have a rope toe, which is the ultimate scenario to get good quick, but I think hiking stuff really ramps up your progression and you're going to be much more likely to try something more difficult than just lapping. That would be my advice.
the cool thing about hiking too is hiking's contagious. So like if someone sees somebody hiking something and trying something, especially like people who are learning how to do things, or like even I'll still do it. Like I'll go to Woodward or Brighton and be like, I'm hiking the mailbox today. And all of a sudden like you blink and 30 minutes later you got like 10 people hiking it with you. And like that's also a great way to make friends. And go ahead.
I just said good point.
Yeah. So hiking
Creating
is
a session.
Yeah, and that's the vibe, you know. That's the thing where it's like that's when like the true progression actually happens. Because also like whatever, if you learn a new trick and you don't film it or and somebody doesn't see it, did you actually learn the new trick? No, I'm kidding.
Did this guy said he wanted to learn a frontside 270?
He didn't. He just said, what's advice for learning or older riders getting into riding park?
Right.
Putting in the reps.
Yeah, that's it.
As you would
Start
say,
small,
right, Chris?
work your way up.
All right, we're going to call Jeff Pensiero from Baldface Lodge, cat operation up in Canada. See if he picks up.
Yellow.
Hi, I'm looking for Jeff Pensiero. You're on line in the group chat here with the Bombhole crew. We got Seth Huot, Cocard, Des, Silk D in studio. How we doing? What's happening, JP?
We're doing good. We're down in the office today after being up at the lodge for like the last 3 or 4 weeks. It's nice to be in the thick air of Nelson right now.
I want to hear about the holiday crew you just had in there that came and spent Christmas down at the lodge.
The holiday crew, it was great. I had my own massive family up there, which was great. The Andersons came, Billy and Spencer and Sarah and Jeffrey, and Brian Henderson and his family came out, Damian Maroney, Mo, and their kids came out, and Lucy and Kira, Leah, and Micah were out. And then, Brad, the guide, his kids. It was great. We had 44 people this year.
Wow.
And a really tall Christmas tree.
Fun.
And we did family Olympics on the last night, pushing potatoes around the lodge with your nose, no hands allowed. Dance competitions. It was a little wild.
Well, it sounds like a good time. I wanted to talk to you about, I think right now, this time of year, we're about to get into, backcountry conditions being a go if winter turns on, hypothetically.
Right.
And I think for a lot of our listeners, it would be interesting to hear you talk about the importance of knowing about the mountains, avalanche safety, first aid, risk maturity, all that stuff.
Yeah, let's get after it. We started the season, of course, with two. Now we do 2 risk maturity classes kind of back to back. This year's was, they've all been great, but this year's was exceptional. We had an incredible crew. I think we did 38 invitees this year. Guest speakers every night. That class starts with 2 days of peak first aid training in town, which you've done, and is pretty intensive. Lots of great stuff comes out of that. And then we bring them up into the mountains to talk about mountain travel, share experiences, do case studies, and then we go out into the field and dig a lot of snow profiles, do a lot of improvised first aid, in the field, practice that kind of stuff, so that when these crews are out there and inevitably if something happens, it's not the first time they've had to take their first aid kit out. Or, hopefully we can help people avoid getting into problems at all in the first place by, what they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of something else. I don't remember the whole thing.
Do they say that?
They say something. I don't know. Maybe Silk D can look that up on the Google, what that expression is. I'm not sure. You got the intern, get him working in there,
Yeah. No.
An ounce of something is a pound of something else. Anyways, I think it's not about my memory here. What it's about is first aid. and
an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Benjamin Franklin.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Benjamin Franklin.
Nice reference.
Right?
Yeah, it's a Ben Franklin quote.
Is that the first Ben Franklin quote on the bomb hole?
It could be. It could be. I want to.
Hats off to me.
I want to hear the success story that you told me the other day about the first aid happening.
So, backing up a little bit, there's a gentleman named Tyler Ravel. He's doing a great job of taking pictures of people. He actually has the cover of Jody Wozniak, this snowboard journal. So he was out there, wanted to get involved. It's the first time he's ever taken any instruction like this. So he did the peak first aid training, came to risk maturity, and literally left. Got on a red eye, flew to Orange County, said he had a photo shoot for Oakley in the moto space. They went out to some sand dunes somewhere in Southern California. So literally this guy is wearing Gore-Tex and long johns one day, and then he's going down to shoot a MX thing in the desert the next day. And sees a young man, very well known, but I'm not in the MX world. I think Alex, someone.
Axel?
Axel, someone. Anyways, sent it off of a giant sand dune and somehow cased it and found himself injured. And lots of people around, but nobody with any first aid training. And he came upon this young man with a broken femur and immediately slipped right into his safety mind and started recording things like respirations per minute, heartbeat, checked him for shock, realized he had a broken femur, pulled traction on that femur correctly, continued to monitor him, called for further first aid. They brought a helicopter in, literally, most probably life-saving intervention that Tyler performed on this young man. They got him in the helicopter, flew him away, and apparently the ambulance attendants, the air ambulance attendants, were just over the moon that somebody who actually had some formal first aid training was able to put hands on this guy and keep him stable and keep things calm and follow the path set out by his training. So it's really a good reminder that this first aid training we do isn't really just about avalanches and trauma that happens in the backcountry snowboarding. It's like people fall down escalators every day, and there's car accidents, and people hurt themselves skateboarding, all these things. And just having that little bit of training, 2 days, 7 days of training, you'll use it for sure.
And I have a question about him pulling traction. Did he have a tourniquet that he had gotten from the brought to risk maturity? So he had an actual tourniquet to pull traction on the femur?
I don't know if he used a tourniquet to pull traction or if he improvised it. The tourniquet is not necessary in all instances. You got to really, I haven't heard the details of the injury, but apparently it was a displaced and broken femur, but I don't know if it was exposed and compound or not. I haven't talked to him and gotten all those details yet. But he did have his first aid kit, and he was able to use that first aid kit to improvise and pull traction, which is great. He has pictures of it on his Instagram, actually.
Cool. And then I just remember as you were talking to Sean Miskimin last year, right? Didn't those guys pull up on a ski crew or a snowmobiler that got buried right after their risk maturity?
It's true. He did, and same kind of situation. When you practice this stuff, when you do unfortunately come upon a situation, I believe they came upon a snowmobile group where someone had gotten really seriously injured, and he just slipped into his kind of guide mind and started, following the path. That's what they tell us. It's like, just follow the path. And, you check, make sure they're breathing. If they're not breathing, give them air. Are they bleeding? If they're bleeding, give them some compression. Like, keep it going. And he went through all the steps, and they helped facilitate a really complicated rescue out of the Whistler backcountry with an injured snowmobiler. And that was right after the class last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are all great things, man. These are great stories. They could definitely go the other way. And it's really great that these guys are taking it seriously, and incredible to see how committed our community is to this and how it's blossoming right now. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. You guys getting snow up there in Nelson?
Yeah, we got 8 Cs the night before last. It is low tide, up above 1,850 meters. We're almost where we should be. It's just that we had warm weather and rain early in the season, so there's kind of a line where it gets pretty tough. Luckily at Baldface, we cut that ghost road in. We have kind of 2 upper road systems, so we can kind of hot lap the top of the mountain where the snow's good, not have to get into the weeds too much. So we're surviving. People are really stoked. Everyone's rebooking. We got 24 people up there right now, and we actually open Valhalla tomorrow. Is opening day over there. So I'd say we're about 60% of where we should be on the bottom of the mountain, and we're about 90% of where we should be at the top of the mountain. And I'm apologizing to everybody about it when they come out, but then I'm seeing pictures of other resorts in Jackson and some places where they're really struggling for snow. So I think we're doing really good right now, all things considered.
Cool, JP. Love that.
How's it down there? How's it in Utah?
Park riding's good.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, that's pretty rad. That's great.
But there's not much snow up in the mountains. There's not a lot of fresh new snow, which is fun.
It's coming.
When you don't limit yourself to one style of snowboarding, you can have fun in all conditions. But I wanted to, before we wrap it up, I know you got an announcement about a new endeavor that you're about to launch, and I'd love to have you breaking news here on the Bombhole exclusive.
Oh my God. You're so kind. All right, here it is. I'm after my Bombhole. I got so much good feedback from so many dedicated listeners. It was overwhelming. I'm sure that's the way it is for everybody who comes on. It was great. And so I'm going to start a podcast. I'm actually recording the first episode this week, and it's going to be called Rise and Fall. And I'm going to do a short form one where it's going to be 20 to 25 minutes. I'm going to sit with the proponents of snowboarding brands that are not around anymore. And what I want to do is talk to people about how the brand was founded, what it was like as they were building the brand, what the brand was like at its peak, and then what caused the end of the brand and how it ended. And I'm hoping to get some really charismatic and notable people on to be able to talk about their experience of running a brand and have a little bit of a business taste to it, a little business flavor. And after I put some of these episodes together, which I do want to keep kind of short, and I know it's going to be a challenge. I'm hoping to compile some of the learnings that I get from these individual episodes and write a column that'll be in Snowboard magazine and kind of talk about what we can learn from these things, so that as other new entrepreneurs start getting great ideas in our space, they can have some passed on knowledge in our industry and learn from some of the mistakes and some of the successes in the past. So there you go. It's going to be called Rise and Fall. Look for it.
Well, we're looking forward to listening to it. I think it'll be amazing. You're so well-spoken. You have such a great connection of friends and, Rolodex of people that you're close with, that there'll be endless good stories. So I'm fucking hyped to check it out, JP. You're going to annihilate. You're going to kill it.
Well, I got you've broken trail for me, Chris. It'll be easy following in your massive 32 footsteps.
It's not that hard. You're going to do great. But you're going to crush it. All right, JP, I'm going to wrap it up. We got a big show. We're going to keep moving on, but appreciate you calling and chatting with us, and it's always a pleasure, my friend.
See you, JP.
Keep up the good work. I'll see you guys all up here. Take care. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Later. Okay. What a good chat with JP. Man,
such a legend.
The avalanche stuff's crazy. Yeah. The rescue stuff. And you were there for when Jeremy broke both of his legs and almost died. And I just think it's always great to talk about, if you're gonna fuck around in these mountains, know how to save your buddies.
It's not if, it's when.
Yeah.
And that's what you gotta know. So
I do think too, the course that they offer at Baldface is incredible. I haven't actually gone to the risk maturity one, but everybody who has, it seems amazing. But I do think it's worth noting that you can get that same training where you live, and we should have asked Jeff what certifications he recommends, but I do think for the individuals who can't really afford to go to the Baldface one, there still are AVI and first aid trainings within your areas. So definitely pursue those. Don't just be oh no, I can't go to the Baldface risk maturity, so I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, we just finished one here with the UAC.
Yeah.
Griff organized it, Harry and Blake and everybody, with just a small group of us, 3-day course or 2.5-day course. It was super mellow. I learned so much, and it also you got us through the reps. I've never done that good of beacon drills. And we were on slope, strapped in. You got 3 people down, go find them. And it was the clock's on. And you can never get enough practice.
All right, we're going to do a giveaway for Dragon. We got some goggles here, the NFX2s. And their team kicks ass. Dragon kicks ass. They just came on board. Shout out to Mariner, who's killing it over there. They got Blake Paul on their squad. Just dropped a new Stinky Bug edit. You guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely incredible.
Pure flame. So if you want to win these goggles, DM us a photo of your current horrific goggle. We want to see some goggles that are scratched up, destroyed. If your goggles are horrendous, send us a photo, and we will hook up the person that we think truly needs some new goggles. So DM it to the bomb hole, and we will pick a winner. They have the new Dragon NFX2. It's got patented iTech Luma lens, reducing eye fatigue, and it's superior anti-fog technology, which is great when you're hiking around the mountains. You don't want to be fogging up there. No fogging problems.
No fog.
No fog.
Nobody needs fog.
No fog's given.
Yeah.
All right. So check that out if you want to win these goggles. DM it to the bomb hole. Okay. Des, I got a Patreon question, but let's check in. Let's just check in with you here. Let's point the lens at you here for a little bit, because you just got fucked up in Mammoth. How you feeling? What's going on? What's going on in the world of Des?
Oh man. I mean, I went 11-month recovery to 3 weeks of riding to 8 weeks of recovery. Just did it's called a transverse process fracture on 3 of my vertebrae on the right side, fractured the right wings off, and pretty brutal, honestly, because we are, we're getting into it in the winter. I'm producing a movie with my buddy Ted Borland, and sponsors gave us money to make this movie, and I'm really excited about the idea. We got a bunch of AMs in it, actually, and then we got some heroes in it, too. I don't know. We'll let that be a surprise as things unfold, but it's kind of hard to be like, a person in charge and then just benched immediately. So, yeah.
You're going to be fine.
I'm going to be fine. We'll
looking so forward to this project, too.
It's going to be sick.
You got plenty of time.
So
Do you see
sick.
Bodie didn't start filming till March, and he has like the best footage out of anybody. The whole freak. Have you seen any of his footage?
Oh, Bodie's incredible. I saw the part.
Psycho.
He's incredible. There, we all know Bodie is the best.
Yep. Yeah.
He's. I never got to answer the question, but he's the GOAT.
Do you not get asked that when you came
No,
out?
I think that my episode kind of spawned because we were talking about, the Last Dance and all that. I think that kind of spawned that.
All right, we have a question from one of our Patreon members, Jelly Da Bean. Great name. Desiree, since starting and working with Stay, what has surprised you the most? And maybe preface that with explaining what Stay is for people that don't know.
Yeah, sure. Stay stands for Somebody's Thinking About You. We are a 501c3 nonprofit that, we advocate for mental health awareness in the action sports landscape, and we have an emphasis on suicide prevention. We've lost some great members of our community to suicide, as we touched on my bomb hole back in the day. I had attempted in the past. Mental health issues are real. Suicide is real. The numbers are sadly growing, and there's just not much being done about it, specifically in our landscapes. So that's where we just kind of try to drive this conversation. I think the most surprising thing about having started it is, first of all, the reception's been great. People generally support us. They love the idea. We're a very small team, so growth is slow. Obviously, that's kind of how it goes with nonprofits within your first 3 years. And whenever you have like another thing to do, like grad school or jobs. So we're slow. Things are growing. The reception's been fantastic. But the reality is, especially in the realm of suicide prevention, there's just not a lot of information. There's not a lot of things you can do. There's not a lot of people talking about it. And, we're fighting a rather large stigma. That's just what's been surprising, where it's like, especially I entered grad school, I'm becoming a therapist, and wanting to specialize in suicidality. It's kind of like, oh my God, there's really not a lot of information, and it's just it's a thing that happens. So that's what's been most shocking to me, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna learn all this shit and we're gonna make it change, and people are gonna stop dying, and people are still dying.
So I mean, you breezed over talking about it being important. I'd love to hear you elaborate on that.
On what?
Just talking about suicide.
Yeah. I think, if we look at it, or if you consider it, usually suicide happens because individuals don't ask for help. And I think there's even a ton of issues with asking for help. I think everyone says to do it, but how do you ask for help? Who do you ask for help? What is even helpful for somebody who is suffering to the point where they no longer want to live? And that's where, the biggest thing that we can do to begin combating the suicide rate is to communicate about it, kind of understand that the reasons why we're not communicating about it is because there is a stigma. It becomes uncomfortable. It's used against people. It's weaponized. And so it's very important just to recognize, like, we can talk about our feelings. Like, we can talk about what's happening in our lives. We can talk about death and dying. And it shouldn't be these things that are hidden. And I understand a lot of people, you want things to be private, and you want to, keep the stoke going, especially in this culture, snowboarding culture. Like, you got to be high vibes. You got to, like, put on a mask, especially to succeed as, like, a athlete, But the reality is life is not good all the time, and it is totally okay to not be okay. And it's really important to just figure out, how do I talk about these things? Who do I talk to, and what do the safe spaces look like? And it's a thing you have to actively do right now, because that's the society that we live in.
I love talking about this stuff. Yeah. I'm like, this shit's fun for me. And I don't know if I've ever said this on air. Maybe it's just in my head. I don't know. But as you were talking, I was kind of thinking about, talking about feelings and stuff like, and I think for a long time, there's this, I don't know, I can only speak from my lens, and it's like, fucking be a man. Don't talk about it. Just kind of like, just whatever, right? So, but I got to flip that on its head right now. Because if you think about it, okay, like, what's easier? You can kind of bury your feelings and be like, I'm just going to avoid and not think about it and just fucking shove it down and like fucking compartmentalize it and just like not deal with what, and like, what's scary? Like, it's fucking kind of scary to take a look at the fucking things that whether it's suicide or depression or things that are, in your psyche that are bothering you, that are kind of causing you to feel a certain type of way. So it's like, it's actually fucking it's kind of like, if you want to be a man, like if, in the sense of like being tough or whatever that means, fucking take a look at the scary shit. It's like hitting the big jump. You're like, fuck it, I'm going to take a look at this. It's like, fuck it, I'm going to hit the big jump. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like actually fucking bury your feelings is kind of actually like not hitting the big jump.
It's the easy way out.
It's kind of the easy. Yeah, it's kind of like I'm going small side. I'm going small side. I'm not going big side.
I don't want to turn this into a gender thing, but it is definitely 100% more manly to go to therapy than to not.
Yeah.
And it is a bit more manly to acknowledge your anger issues and learn how to communicate than it is to be a dick. So it's I kind of love the direction you're going with that.
You know what I was trying to say?
No, I love it, and I do think like for like the quality humans that I do know who have become like pretty incredible men, it's because they've taken that hard look in the mirror and they've done the work. And that's the thing. It is work. It is like getting the confidence to send it off. That big jump for your analogy or whatever. Like, no, it's great. I fully agree.
Fun.
Yeah.
So if people want to, there's a couple questions I have while we're talking about stay. If people want to support, what's the best way to do it? A, and B, I think a good question is like, most people have friends that we know are suffering and we don't know what to do. How should we proceed, or do you have any advice on how to proceed and stuff like that?
Yeah. So to support Stay, the best thing you can do is honestly just wait a second, because our website is going to launch so soon. I know I've been saying that for about a year, but we will have everything available through the website. If you're just like, let us support you, let us help you out. We have a Venmo. It's somebody's thinking about you. Send us your money. We need money. I also want to plug here a program that we are about to launch. We have created a free interview, assessment, and diagnosis program that will be available online to anybody. We don't really know how it's going to work yet because, like I said, it's new and we need money for it to run. But what we really love about this idea is that it removes the actual barrier of knowing what the hell is going on. So the way it would work is you sign up, you create a client portal. Everything's HIPAA approved, confidential. We have licensed therapists who are going to be running it, and you're going to have an interview with the therapist. The therapist will, either provide an assessment or, kind of just figure out what's going on with you, and then you'll receive a suggested diagnosis and almost like a map for ways to move forward. Some people don't need therapy. Some people just need behavioral lifestyle adjustments. Some people need to see psychologists. Like some people just, the issue is like people don't have the privileged information. This is going to be our attempt at providing access to the privileged information for free. And like I said, we need public funding for this program to launch. So if you want to give us your money, please give us your money. It's for a great cause. Otherwise, if you're trying to help a friend in need right now or, find resources, the internet's kind of the best place to start. So if you're trying to help a friend in need and you don't know where to start, you don't have the information, and, reality is if you want to find a therapist, usually there's a couple week wait, can even get to a couple months late, but depending on where you live. And if you live in a rural environment, chances are you don't even have a therapist available, or you're scared to seek therapy. There's a website called the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI snowboarding.org. There's a resource page there, and that's actually the most robust database for resources for mental health issues. And depending how you identify, there's specific ones for every type of person. So that's kind of like the go-to resource.
Gangster.
Yeah.
And then, you answered both my questions. Now, I want to talk snowboarding in your new project. Who's in it? Who's making it? What's the concept?
Oh, shit. I'm not going to talk about the concept. The people who know about the concept will, they support us. It's going to be a surprise. I want it to be a surprise. It is going to be more
it's
of
like Fight Club. It's like first rule of Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I find the most interesting right now, because, there was that Garage Mag anonymous video that dropped, and I think a couple of us know who that was. I definitely know who it was. And there's an ongoing conversation about all snowboarding videos being the exact same right now. And I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I think there's some redundancy. I also think there's some beauty in it. I think video parts are a necessity for the stepping stone to becoming pro. There are a couple pros who haven't filmed incredible video parts who are very pro right now. Zeb Powell's a great example. He hasn't really done the whole video part thing, but I know he wants to. But I do think that video parts are the stepping stone. So I think we've entered into a phase where everybody can make movies. We got 100 of them, 100 street videos dropping per season now. And, my brain is kind of like, well, how do we do it a little differently? And not trying to reinvent the wheel. I don't think... I'm special by any means, but it's fun to, throw some shit at a wall and see what sticks.
Great philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
You'll throw the shit at the wall, see if it sticks.
Yeah.
You just asked Cocard a question. What was it? And we kind of went back to, redundancy in snowboard videos. That's a good topic. Anybody want to elaborate on that?
I haven't really noticed it, but you see it in comments. Online. It's like, just another emo snowboard video, blah, blah, blah. Like, you see a lot of those. And I get it, There's like a vibe that everyone's going for and kind of, a lot of 8mm?
Super 8?
Super 8, a lot of Super 8 lifeies and just kind of that blueprint that was created in 2010. But yeah, so I can see where you're coming from. It's definitely getting old, and I think people are ready for something new. So that's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, but then there's the conversation, does art belong in a snowboard movie?
Totally.
Thank you.
Because it is, like you were saying earlier, it's art.
Yeah. I mean, I think the formulas, like a skate video or a snowboard video, there's these natural formulas that kind of form, and that's totally cool. I think, and you make a part or you make a video and you execute your vision, and that's awesome. But also, in the same point, it helps these different projects really stand out. That have a little more thought or have a little more direction as far as trying to include a concept. So, I think I can't wait for Des's project. This sounds so amazing, and what you've done with United Slopes, I'm such a big fan of that. Just the narration and including this creative writing to the whole process. It's I think I think the formulas are great, and I think also it helps you break the formula and really stand out too.
Yeah, I do want to say there were a couple creative ones this year. I think Naima made a pretty fun, creative amazing take on a snowboard film, a little storytelling, and then there was always Travis Rice did his thing with a couple narrative, magical tree things, and I think it's just at a point where it's I really want to encourage the community and the riders to once again be vulnerable. What can that look like? And it's not for everybody. Not everybody needs to do it, because that's the thing, too. If everybody did it, I'd be like, fuck, let's go back to fucking snow porn. Trick. But I don't know.
Yeah, I love it. I think that it's great because snowboarding, we're all in a similar lane, right? We all, I think, have a semi-similar philosophy about we like tricks and the way we grew up. We grew up watching, you know, these videos that are edited a certain way, and it's like we've kind of emulated that, and that's been, but that doesn't have to be the way, you know. And I just got an interesting message. This is from one of our Patreon members. Shout out to Matthew Kuna Rigby, and I actually watched this video after I saw this to kind of follow up. But he said, just watched Nidaker's Left Right and was curious what you guys thought, given that it was fully focused on the art of turning and didn't include any steel or tricks or jumps. I got pretty excited to get on the hill after watching it, and I'm wondering if you guys got the same feeling. And, you know, I watched it. Have you guys watched it all?
No.
So, all good. Yeah, so it's really, the whole thing is turning, whether it's like turning on hard pack, turning with a follow cam, turning down big mountain lines, talking about the beauty of the turn. And it's like it's amazing because like what's the effect that it had on this person? It made you want to go snowboarding. That's the point of a snowboard video. If you watch something and it speaks to you and it makes you want to go snowboarding, then keep watching that. That's fucking beautiful, you know? And what I get off on is going to be different than what Des or Coke, we all have different tastes, and that's also what makes it amazing, you know? And turning is something that I like to make fun of it because all my friends are getting older and they turn their back on the park and they're all of a sudden turn people. And so like I like making fun of turning because my friends like to pretend, they use it as an excuse to not hit park jumps anymore. That's why I hate turning. I'll be honest with you. And so
maybe
like,
you just don't really know how to turn, Chris.
And that's a factor. And that is a factor. I will say that is a factor. And the thing is that I've been trying to get better at turns, and I appreciate a good turn. When I see like Blair Habernick or Dirksen, or I see like certain people do a turn, I'm like, whoo, good God. But then I see my friends that are like, I don't ride the park anymore, man. I just turn. And I'm like, fuck, that's fucking bullshit. Like nobody. Okay, my take is this: is that like I think turns, doing a good turn is beautiful. It will always be beautiful. And it's fucking really difficult. I've done turns at a Solomon shoot behind Volley and Dirksen, and mid-turn I hear Ole Gegman literally laughing. He's laughing. It's like I'm a professional snowboarder, and I can't even, you know, it's hard. I appreciate the difficulty of it. But for me, when I'm talking about what gets my goat, what gets me going, what gets the juices flowing, catching air is just so fun. Back lip down a rail is so fun. A turn is so fun. But you're not going to tell me that if you front seven a fucking 80-foot kicker and land with your hands in your pockets, that didn't feel better, that felt better than a fucking turn on hardback. It doesn't. It fucking doesn't. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it just doesn't, okay? Like, and so that's my take. I've always been a trick guy. Talk to me in 10 years, I'll be eating my words. Maybe I'll be like, no, man, you didn't understand. Didn't understand the art of the turn. But it's if you love turns, do more turns. Just don't tell me that park's stupid because when it's not, it's fucking awesome.
My biggest nightmare is going out and filming and having the filmer be like, yeah, just go here and just like slash right there. Because I will botch it 100% of the time. I'm like, that looks great. And it's just, I just blow it every time, and it just leaves whoever's standing there like, oh my God, like, does this guy even snowboard? Like, what the hell?
I actually had to do this with you the day before I blew up my knee. Like, fucking Shane's like, oh yeah, go do a powder slash. And Bodie's like, yeah, do a slash. And do the slash. And Bodie's like, you good? Like, you're good at snowboarding. You should go do that again. And I'm just like, I don't know, dude.
No, Shane's actually the person I'm thinking about while I'm thinking of this. Because he can turn better than anybody out there. And he'll do it with like a tripod on his back and his huge camera bag and just go out and do the most perfect turn in the perfect spot with the perfect light. And you're just looking at him like, how did you do that? Like, that is so amazing. And then, you know, it's your turn. It's like, yeah, right here is perfect. Like, I got it all framed up. No.
It's kind of, though, it's one of those things where you can't plot. Like, you can make a million insane turns down a run. You got speed. It's just like, oh, there it is, boom. Oh, there it is, boom. You know what I mean? But if it's like, turn right there, okay, like, it's so contrived, you know? Right. It's not like the free-flowingness of like what a turn actually could be.
Yeah, that's true.
I have a question. Why are powder backcountry videos so boring?
I got some theories to that. I mean, things that contribute to it. I'd say audio. You know, think about snowboarding when you're sliding down a handrail. It's the sounds of the snowboarding are more interesting. I think the landscape of a city and the fact that you have buildings and rails and you're generally like, you know, fisheye in the stairs and it's exciting. You're flying over the lens. I think the landscape of it's challenging and I think there's a lot of slow-mo and slow-mo can be boring. And so, but I certainly appreciate it and love it. But if you're talking about why, I think those are my thoughts on it.
I think there's ways to make it interesting through the whole video. You know, like for sure when it's just like cheese wedge after cheese wedge, step down, step down, step down, you start to think about other things. You're like, you know, your mind just starts to wander. But if you're like thinking creatively and trying to like, I don't know, just not hit a bunch of cheese wedges, like it's more interesting for me to watch that. You know, you got some log rides in there or whatever. You're just kind of thinking a little bit outside the box. I mean, I love hitting jumps, like backcountry jumps, step downs, cheese wedges. Like that's all day for me. But yeah, it's really important when you're like thinking about your video part to like mix in these weird little things that are like bringing people's attention back to like, you know, what you're watching.
Great point. Seth, you got any takes on that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it just comes down to the writer and the style, the video, the filmmaker. You know, there's a lot of variables out in the backcountry and filming mountains. You're limited with angles and, you know, what you can actually do or, you know, whoever's creative vision of like what they want to ride, whether if it's just only cheese wedges or not. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. If it's boring,
editing.
for you, because the editing
is like because
editing's
you could put
huge.
in personality. Like think about Parker. You know, Travis Parker's parts. Like majority are backcountry, and but there's lifestyles of him doing dumb shit in there sprinkled in.
Right. And it makes it fun and awesome.
Fun.
And then when you see that next cheese wedge clip, you're like, this is awesome. You know? As opposed to like, oh, another jump clip.
Yeah, and it depends upon what you put into it. If it's just a small dot down a screen the whole time, it gets monotonous. So it's like trying to find those ways to like spice it up. If you are an only backcountry film rider, you know what I mean? Like think like, oh, I need to get a fisheye shot. I need to get close to the camera. I need to like make it fun.
Yeah, make it exciting.
Making it personable because usually it is shot from a valley away. It's hard to get personal at that point.
Yeah, it's just funny because it's like or whatever. I'm a rail kid. Obviously, never really progressed in the backcountry very far. Been out there. Never really got
out there.
I've been out there. But and you know the common consensus with the kids a lot of the times like, oh, the powder movie boring. Gonna skip it. It's boring. I will say though, in that the movie that Parker and Rav made, the Vans one. I don't know who was on the follow cam fish in the backcountry.
Olivier.
That shit made it so engaged. Like, and I think it's the movement. I think you're onto something where it's like I think it's the ways in which we capture the riding because that shit made it so sick.
And that requires like Olivier was hiking every try with them. The film with the big massive camera and the board. It's like okay, every try. Like he was filming Blake, I think on a triple line, and the whole time I was like across the lake or whatever and just was watching him. He's hiking up just with the rider, just the same. So it's kind of what I get. I think it's like what everybody puts into it.
Right.
Like what's the quote? You get out
what you put in.
Yeah.
Colonel Kotzenberg said that on air. It's probably somebody else's originally. There's a question going back to turns. I don't know if anybody has one. We'll just skip over. But if anything comes up, this is from Jungle Loke. Great name. What's your best turn story? I mean, I mentioned mine earlier. We were in Saas-Fee on a Solomon shoot. Dirksen dropped in, beautiful toe side. Vole dropped in, beautiful toe side. Shooting photos for a catalog. I drop in, same place. Try to just go Rob Machado on him and just whack a heel side. And the photographer, Ole Gagnon, just laughed. He laughed at me. So
that hurts.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
Yeah.
But any come up to mind for you guys? Didn't you get hurt on a turn?
Oh fuck! I got hurt turning. I blew out my knee turning. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, no, it's a high Abbey day, and so we're in the backcountry in Logan. Bodie, it fucking rules. He was just doubling me out every day, and that's the beauty of a couple of these dudes that lend the assist. So yeah, like Bodie's just doing due diligence, helping me out, and we're on a low incline run, and it's really fun, perfect powder, kind of snowing lightly, and I hit a bump under the snow while I was turning.
A stump or something?
It was fucking something, but yeah, totally completely ruined my knee.
So, you can't get hurt in the air. Bodie always says that.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
You got hurt on the ground.
I got hurt on the ground.
You got hurt on the ground.
So it checks out.
So so actually, Bodie's still right.
Yeah,
the data is in. Fuck.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah. So again, I'm gonna say, hit a jump. You can't get hurt in the air. All right, let's talk snacks. Let's talk Hippeas. What are Hippeas? Well, they're chips that are made from chickpeas, and they're packed full of flavor. Here at the Bomb Hole, we like the nacho vibes. That's what we always ask for. And we delete bags of chips here while we're working at the office. One thing that's cool about Hippeas is that they're farmed with 10% of the water of most proteins. So that's 90% less water taken from Mother Nature. So support sustainable farming. How do you do that? By sustainable snacking. And we all love snacking. So you might catch Silk D just putting down a bag of these at least a day. And if you're interested in picking up Hippeas, which are non-GMO, by the way, you can find them at your local grocery store or at hippeas.com and use promo code BOMBHOLE for 20% off your order. All right, let's talk about one of my favorite places, Mammoth Mountain. Just got back from a fun trip there with the 32 squad. The park was firing. It was absolutely hitting. They got a Grand Prix coming up January 31st to February 3rd. They'll have the slope style and super pipe event. Be sure to check that out if you want to see some insane snowboarding firsthand. These people are very impressive. So check that out at Mammoth. It's right at Main Park. And let's talk about their parks. At peak season, they got over 140 features in their unbound terrain parks. They got 10 parks, 100 plus rails, 40 plus jumps, and at any time a mini pipe, a mega pipe, and countless transition features. They got, of course, Main Park, which is, I think it's like 2 minutes and 40 seconds, give or take, to get back to the top. High speed lift. So you're able to get your reps up like you wouldn't believe. If you want to progress, Main Park is the place to do it. Dusty Hendrickson would be a product of Mammoth Main Park, and he is incredible. They got South Park, still pretty big, fun, flowy. You can get after it in South Park, different aspect, different part of the mountain. Then, of course, you have Forest Trail, which is more medium-sized jumps. You might catch the old heads or the Groms getting after it. Beautifully built park jumps there. Fun jibs. And then you have they have a full transition run. I think it's called the Snake Run. That thing's insane. They got the Wonderland Playground, kind of a beginner park. And then they have the transition park. Everything dedicated to transitions. So they got everything you need. And then the mountain itself is incredible on a powder day. You can get into it as much as you want to. You can ride lines. You can hit cliffs. They got it all. And I would say the two things I love about riding Mammoth Park, aside from the high-speed quad, so you can get your reps up, would be the jumps are built perfectly. It's a great place to progress. When a jump is built well, you can land on your back and you're okay. So they got steep landings, great takeoffs. Shout out to the park crew over there. They absolutely kill it. And the steel slides really well. So if you're looking for a good vacation, be sure to check out Mammoth. They support the show, so be sure to support them. And have a good time this winter. Check out Mammoth. Okay, we're going to take a call with Jay Stone. He works over at K2 in product development, and he's got some topics he wants to get into. Let's see if we got him on the line. Jay Stone, you there?
What up, dog?
Good to have you back on air, my friend. What's happening?
How we doing? Just got done with a little shift at Woody's.
Nice. How the front fives feeling?
Oh, dude, feeling nice. It was a good day for it.
I was wondering if you, speaking of Woodward, if you could walk us through your first two runs we took about a week ago up there. You really hit the ground running. Really great start to the day. Yeah.
really throwing me under the bus on this one.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah. Run one clean. Just there's a little berm with a stick on the top of it. Tried to just do like a layback tail tap. Whacked my board way too hard. Sent me backwards head first into a chunder field. Tore the back up pretty nice on some ice. That was run one.
That was within 15 seconds of dropping into the hill, annihilated, just to kind of give you guys a little more context. Okay, and then let's go to that. Take it to run two, because that was great. I loved it. But yeah, continue.
Yeah. Run two. Asked you if the rails were sticky or not, because they can be a little sticky up at Woody's, and got to just board slide a little flat down and get absolutely leveled to my back, full slip out. So really starting it off right. It was a great day.
It was a respectable, just bodied right out of the car. It was just something that makes me happy. I love seeing that back to back. So I think we got some good topics to talk about. We got a low snow year. A lot of people getting core shots. Okay. And I think, you get a scratch in your snowboard. You don't need a new snowboard. You can repair it.
No.
You can get a base grind, and you worked at Milo Sport for a long time, so you know how to fix snowboards really well. Also, give the people that don't know who you are your title, so the listeners know who they're talking to, because this is an impressive title. Serve up the title.
God damn it! It's Senior Global Design Engineer of Snowboards, or K2.
That's a badass title.
Yeah.
Senior and global, both in the title.
And I've snowboarded in Canada since last time we chatted, so
global.
We're rounding out the continent.
Global checks out at this point. He was actually more of a domestic
senior.
A bit of a domestic engineer. We're Mr. Worldwide at this point now.
Yes.
We're doing good.
Yeah. Shout out to Pitbull. Okay, so getting back to let's talk about core shot repairs here.
Yeah, dude, for sure. This is, always like early season people, they like unwrap the brand new board from Christmas, go take it out and just smoke a rock or something and think their board's ruined, but it's actually super easy to repair. And we'll talk like two different types of base repairs. There's like your classic, just like gouge in the P-Tex or scratch in the P-Tex. And then there's like a core shot where you actually rip away the base material and you actually hit the core of the board and like the core is exposed. So they're both super easy to fix with just like your standard scratch or gouge in the base. That's a little bit easier to fix. All you need to get is one of those P-Tex candles. You can get them from pretty much any shop out there. And the big thing with that is when you're fixing your board, so you want to cut out any of the loose base material with a razor blade. So get it all cleaned up nice. And then when you go ahead and light the P-Tex candle, I think most people think they just like drip the P-Tex into the scratch. And you kind of see that little like ball of plastic fire dripping into the board. And that's actually not what you want to do when you're fixing the board. That makes it so the P-Tex is way more likely to crack and it's not going to bond as well to the base material. So a little pro tip with that is if you get a metal scraper, light up your P-Tex candle, get it hot where it's starting to drip, and then you bring it down close to the metal scraper. So it's only like maybe a half inch or a centimeter off of the scraper. The flame will turn blue and you'll start to see like a little river of P-Tex melting off the candle onto the scraper. And then once that happens, you can move it over onto the base of your board and start filling in the gouge. And that way you're getting the plastic super hot. So it actually will melt the base material and let the P-Tex bond to it. So I'll make a little video and I'll have Silk toss it up on the screen. So that kind of makes a little bit more sense.
You got it.
But that's yeah. You know what's up. But that's definitely like the proper way to P-Tex. And then you can take a razor blade and just hold it vertically on the base and then rub it back and forth across where you P-Tex once it cools. And you can just scrape it right away like that. So you don't need a full base grind if you're just doing a couple little P-Tex spots. But if you're riding the board a bunch early season and you're getting a ton of gouges throughout the whole thing from rocks, but nothing's hitting the core, you can just go ahead and rip a base grind and freshen that thing up, get a little, maybe some structure added in there. I know Ryan talked about that on the last episode. Freshen the board up for the rest of the season. That's super easy to do.
And is that a base weld, or is that a
So that's just like standard P-Tex. And then, so if you get an actual core shot in your board where the core is exposed, that's when you'll use a material called metal grip, and that's what a base weld is. And you do that a little bit differently. So you can buy the metal grip. It looks super similar to P-Tex, but you just do it in a little bit of a different way where you'll still clean up the area, like cut out any of the loose P-Tex with a razor blade. And then you can take a little sandpaper and sand out the area where you're going to do the base weld. And that'll just help the metal grip bond better. And you can pretty much just cut a little chunk of that material off and lay it in where your big gouge is, the core shot. And you can take a lighter or a torch and start heating it up to where it starts melting. And then take your flat metal scraper. And once it's super melted, you basically smash it into the board. And so it creates this like big glob, and that's going to seal up the core, bond to the wood, base material, everything, get it all cleaned up. And then once that cools down, you can just take a little razor blade and cut off the excess. And then you're pretty much good to go from there. But that's the best way to do it. If you have wood exposed on the base of the board, you don't want to use just a P-Tex candle because it's not going to stick and it's just going to crack and fall out.
And if you get water in your core, you're fucked, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly. It just you'll get water in there. It'll freeze, expand, crack the core. And then your board will probably end up breaking after a few times of riding like that. So, I mean, you can get away with like a day where you have a big core shot, but you definitely want to dry it out as soon as you can and toss a little metal grip in there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got another subject that we talked about prior to the show. You're in the lift line. You noticed a lot of people and their bindings and the way their bindings are positioned on their snowboard. And I think I would love to hear you do a little PSA on how to keep your binding centered in the middle of your snowboard so your toe and heel drag is even.
Yeah, dude, I see this all the time. It's crazy. You see someone in the lift line, they have literally 2 inches of heel drag on their board and then no toe drag. And you ask them how their board rides, and they're like, dude, it rips toe side turns, but every time I do a heel side turn, I just slide out. And you're like, well, that's because your whole shit setup is so shifted to one side. So, yeah, this is something like when I worked at Milo, every time we'd set somebody up, we'd always make sure their boot in the binding was centered on the board. And so the easiest way for someone to check that at home is you can just take your boot, toss it in your binding, strap it all the way in, and then flip the board over and look at it from the base side. And you'll be able to see how much toe hang versus heel hang you have. And you want to be as centered as possible. And so, a lot of binding brands out there have adjustable heel cups. So that's a super easy way where you just loosen a couple screws and you can slide that heel cup in or out. And that's going to help you center the boot over the board, because you don't want to be shifted to one side, because it's just going to make, one of your turns really laggy and take a long time to get on edge, and then one of your turns is going to feel way different, and then you're probably going to boot out and fall just because your bindings are set up bad. It's not because of the board or anything. So flipping it over, looking at it from the base side, if you have those adjustable heel cups, adjusting them in or out to get it to where the boot is centered in the binding on the board. Or if you don't have an adjustable heel cup binding, you can rotate the disc, or there's multiple slots for the disc. And you just want to adjust that toe to heel. And it might take a couple tries to get it dialed, but it's going to make the board ride so much better if you're centered over the top of it. Like, it's just something that I think it's overlooked a ton, especially. And then with people with adjustable heel cups, if you're not consistently tightening your hardware throughout the year, all the hardware can get loose and your heel cup can slide out, and then you get shifted off the center of your board. So I think it's a really easy thing for anyone to do at home. Like toss the boot in there, check it real quick, and see if you're looking good.
Beautiful. Thanks for shedding some insight, Jay Stone, on all this stuff. I think it's all really good stuff for our listeners, learning about snowboarding and all that stuff. So I love it. Anything else you want to add before we wrap up? Any new product stuff, nerd stuff you want to get into, or?
Dude, there's, endless stuff. We could always hit a little on little wax tech if you want.
Oh yeah, let's talk waxing. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you guys talked a little bit about it last time, but I think stuff like this, it always helps. Like I was just up at Baldface and waxing some boards with some people, and like, there's like little tips that you learn over the years that you're like, oh, maybe not everybody knows this stuff. So, there's like everything from like when you're going to start waxing your board, it's always good to take like one of those metal brushes or base cleaner and clean off the base of your board, because you're always getting dirt in the base, and that's going to clog that structure that gets put into the base of your board. And so when you go to wax, if that structure has a bunch of dirt in it or anything, it's not going to be as fast on the new snow. So you're really kind of shooting yourself in the foot before you get started. And then always, selecting like the right type of wax for the snow temp is a good one. Pretty much like all the waxes out there, it'll have a little temperature range for you. And then I think one thing that gets overlooked a bunch is getting a dope iron. Like Dakine makes a good one, Swix makes a good one, where you can actually set the temperature of like how hot the iron gets. And a lot of waxes out there will have a recommended temp. So then that way you're not heating up the wax too much. And, if you start like burning the wax, it kind of ruins the effectiveness of it. But
I did not
pretty
know
much.
that. Is that real?
Yeah.
That's facts.
Really?
Yeah.
I turned that son of a bitch all the way up and just roast wax on there. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. So if your shit's smoking, then your iron's way too hot. So that's like,
we're hitting salts.
We're hitting salts.
We're hitting salts.
Keep going. We're listening. We're just hitting salts.
Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, you guys. The gens in there just absolutely ripping them to the brain.
Ripping them like 4 deep.
The generals actually might be addicted to smelling salts. We might have to have an intervention.
He got the brick for Christmas and already went through it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Got the whole kid. I got the kids' hockey team just hooked on salts. Just mandatory.
Got to start them young,
You got to start them young.
Jay Stone, it's Cocard. Hey, dude.
What up, Brandon?
So you're saying that you can wax your snowboard? Like you put wax on it?
Yeah.
Like on okay, on the bottom.
No, on the top.
Oh, and that's okay, gotcha.
Grip.
Yeah. So it's extra grippy.
It's like
and
surfing.
That's why you want to. Yeah, it's like surfing. So you want to make sure you're selecting the correct temp. So as you're getting off the lift, that wax is going to stay on there so you can grip and you're not going to fall.
Yeah, that's all really confusing. I'll just keep bringing my board to Milo, and you guys do what you do because it's magic when I get it back.
I also think that's what they make crab grabs for.
Just to let people know, they're joking about waxing the top sheet. Don't do that. I don't. There's probably the listeners like, wait, they're talking about the top sheet? I just want to clarify that before anybody does that.
Yeah.
Do you have
Don't
any
wax your top sheet.
Jay Stone? Do you have any preferred wax compounds, chemical compounds? Because I know there's some like hydro, whatever, chloro, something. Probably got banned, but yeah. Is there any preference that you have for chemical compounds out there, or is it just wax is wax?
No, there's definitely waxes that are way better than others. I've been using Wend Wax for the past few years, and they do a bunch of, what's rad with them is they do a bunch of bio waxes. So like fluorocarbon and hydrocarbon's really bad for the environment, and that's why they're banned now. I mean, if you're hitting the bomb hole cup, you're probably going to want to put some of that on there if you're trying to podium.
Just for race days.
Yeah, this is for race days. We're trying to not use it on the daily. Keep the environment good. But yeah, I like Wend stuff. They do a lot of like really high end waxes that are good for the planet. So I usually use that stuff. I think, I mean, there's a few other, I mean, obviously, you know, Bluebird, all those brands out there making really good stuff. But I think like your general all temp wax across the board is going to be like pretty similar, no matter what brand you use, One Ball J or whatever. But yeah, I like Wend stuff. I think it's pretty good.
Wend wax
seems to be working.
Use promo code STOON at checkout and 10% off your order.
That's SCHTOOOOOON.
Exactly. Okay. All right. We're going to keep it moving, Jay Stone, but I really appreciate you letting us know. I learn so much every time. You know, I act like it's for the listeners, but I mean, I didn't know that you could burn wax.
No, I just learned a lot.
I learned that today. Yeah. I've learned that. Yeah. So that's interesting.
Take your time when you're waxing your board. That's all that matters.
Absolutely. All right, Jay Stone. Thanks for calling in. Always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, good to talk to you guys. Happy birthday, Des.
Thank you.
I heard the buoy just popped.
The buoy popped. We got 15 inches coming on the 8th.
Heyo.
We might have a Jenny pop.
Wow.
It's a happy
Yeah.
new year.
Pop the tent, pop the fire.
You guys heard about the Jenny pop? You know it's a good day if you see the Jenny pop in the Brighton parking lot.
It's on.
Stone knows.
Is that the general yourself pulling up to Brighton? Is that what we're talking about?
It's kind of, you know, it's when you pop the tent, pop out the fire.
The Gen
you
pop.
know,
Get
show
a
up
little
about
brekkie
6,
going.
A little brekkie, yeah. Might be the first of the year. Mm-hmm. We'll see.
You're not sure if you're at Burning Man or Brighton when you see him pull up with that Volcom rig. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
So good.
You heard the buoy pop. Now there's the Jenny pop.
All right, Stu. Appreciate you, brother. We'll talk soon.
All right. Sounds good. Later.
Later. That was insightful.
Yeah, I actually really did learn a lot.
What did you learn?
I learned that you can fix your snowboard
Yep.
if you get a core shot. Was not aware. You're just now telling me for the first time. And then waxing techniques. Like you put wax on the bottom of your board. That's good to know.
The best thing is doing the razor blade trick when you put it like just vertically, like edge down, and then you just move it side to side and you just knock off all the excess base weld and all that kind of stuff. You're like, whoa, it's gone. It's really cool. You're just like, oh my.
You do a razor blade?
Yeah, you get a razor blade, like he was saying that. Like once you gob all the goop on, you know, and it's just kind of
goop.
yeah, and then it's not smooth.
Are you talking about when you do a base weld?
Yeah, base weld,
got it,
base gouge,
G-Tex repair.
Yeah, and then you just put the razor blade. You're not like try to knife it. You just put it straight down.
Yep.
Edge straight down, and then you just move it side to side over the area. It just takes everything off, makes it just buffed, clean, smooth. Yeah, it's sick.
Wow. Jonathan Buffery called.
Buffery.
I like that. You know, one thing to think about on that too, I do think the more energy, I'm gonna get crunchy, I'm gonna get spiritual. We're going down to a Desiree just gagged a little bit.
Let's go.
This is my
Let's
favorite.
go.
This is my favorite stuff. But like when you put your energy towards your snowboard and you give it love and you wax it and you do your stickers and you get it all set up right, I swear, like when you look down at it and everything's right, you feel better. You feel you're hyped on your snowboard. You're like, when you put care towards your snowboard, it puts care towards you.
Oh, we should have asked him about waxing the sidewalls. Does he do that? Does he think that really works?
I wanted to ask him about the difference between a file and a gummy stone and the proper order for the rail kids.
You guys are
Let's call him back.
advanced.
Hey, we got another question.
Actually.
Amazing. Okay, we're going to get into some Patreon questions, and then we're going to talk about some contest stuff that happened after that. But this is a Patreon question, kind of long-winded. This one's from Lance Hacker. Desiree just almost choked on her water there, or whatever she's drinking. So I'm interested in hearing everyone's perspective on the place of established pros bringing up the next generation and what they look for in people they're going to put that energy into. Also, do they have a trick they consider their signature trick? If so, what would it be? And what snowboarder do they think has the best of their signature trick? So this is like kind of a three-parter.
Yeah.
Not all really related. Where do we want to start here? Next generation or signature trick? Des is doing that with the next generation.
Yeah, let's go
Seth
there.
has done that. Let's start with the first question.
Next generation. There have been a couple people who, you take under your wing. I think also it's so important to do this. I think Jess Kimura has done a great job of it. I think, I try to do as good of a job as I can with the resources that I have. And what that usually entails is filming a video part is privileged information. It's like, how do you figure it out? How do you learn it? What is that like? How do you build a lip? How do you get snow that doesn't pack? There's so many things that go into, especially for street filming, and even in the backcountry. The backcountry, I honestly think, is more intense because I'm less well versed in it. But so it's like you have all this privileged information, and people want to learn how to do it, and sometimes they go out with their friends and they figure it out on their own. But for a lot of the times, especially these marginalized groups, you don't have resources and you don't have the information. So there's people who have done the due diligence to teach them how to do it. And it's funny. I hit my first street spot, or one of my first street spots, with Cocard in 2007, I think, maybe 2008. And, the importance of Brandon being let's put this camera on a tripod. We literally had a camera on a tripod and we were both hiking the rail. I'm like, I got stuck in between the beams trying to ollie under the rail. I couldn't ollie high enough. But then here's Cocard, who's
this camera
with it. Yeah.
Not the exact one, but yeah.
And so then there's Cocard being nice enough to be oh yeah, I'll go out with you. And that it's such a difference. So it's really important that individuals who have the privileged information share it, invest in the youth, let them be a part of your projects, make projects for them, advocate to your team managers about them, show them what a contract looks like. Just share the information, because otherwise especially in the realm of help as far as bridging the gap for the growth of women's snowboarding or professional riding. It's just making all of that information available quicker will help the progression of the sport and the culture. So that's the importance of it. And what I look for drive. I look for interest. I look for compassion. I look for them having already put in the work to ride at a high level. With this project I'm putting together right now, I do think that specifically these girls in it are riding at a really high level, and what can I do to help them? Yeah, get them a Percy filmer, Ted's little purse for the year. And the important, that's the thing too, that's what will really separate success for a lot of these riders. And you saw it with the Jill Perkins and with the Hennas and the Maria Thompson. Even it's once they have access to a filmer full time, my God, they're unstoppable. So whatever. I don't do much. I'm just yeah, cool. I like you.
Don't devalidate what you do. Seth, I feel like you've done the same. Yeah. Same role.
It's kind of. From a rider standpoint, I think as a super cutthroat, everyone's grinding it, coming up the ranks, you know what I mean? But then from a rider standpoint, looking at the next generation, who do you want to ride with? You want to ride with these kids with this fire, and these kids that have like-minded work ability and work ethic and everything else. So it's you naturally, I think, find that a river going downhill or whatever, following gravity. But from a team manager standpoint, I look purely off of energy and what they bring to the crew and how they just it's you can't really put it into words. You just know. I saw the quickest clip of Cannon on that little tow rope mountain across from his house, and it was just boom. I was that's it right there. Same with Egan. Saw her up at the barrier to entry event in June, and then it was she was still going. She was just ripping, just going at it full on, just eating shit, getting back up, going up there, getting the trick. And it's you can just see it and it's pretty evidently clear. And then, it just kind of comes together. So it's definitely an energy, it's a vibe, and, someone that's just willing to do it and brings a lot to the session or the crew or the trip. Cody Warble too, we took him to Austria, and it was just, he blew my mind. Like first year, kind of as when he was getting back onto Volcom, like when he was a bit older, a few years ago, and it was just like, holy crap, this kid's just ready to jump off anything. And it's just like, wow, okay, it's on. And in his style and everything else. So, yeah, it's cool. I love seeing that. I love that part of the, the position of just like seeing the riders just thrive, because that's what you want to do. You just want to see people thrive.
Yeah. And yeah, you're just kind of giving them like a plant, giving it some nourishment. You're like helping the plant grow. You're like, you see this person that has potential, and you're if I can just like, help them get where they need to go because I see that they have it. That's what you guys are doing, and it's really cool. There's a couple other questions in that. Do you guys feel like you have a signature trick, or if you did, what would it be? Des is grinning.
Yeah, what do you know? What do you got?
I mean, there's like a ton of jokes about it. I think I made an entire career off of 2 tricks. A tail press and a front invert.
And you do it awesome.
Yeah.
Doing well.
I think maybe that's more in your own head. You got a lot of tricks.
Yeah, that's a good
point. A lot to offer. But yeah, the ones that like you're like kind of self-aware, like, oh, this is like, I do this a lot, those ones stick around. But I think to like an outside perspective, you just see like, I don't know, the full snowboarder that you are.
That's so
All right,
nice.
I agree.
So
What's
nice.
yours? What's yours, Cocard?
I'm a sucker for the back rodeo 7.
Melon.
Yeah, melon. I gotta switch that up though, dude.
Nobody does melon.
Oh,
Melon's
dude,
great.
melon.
Keep going, melon.
Great.
Yeah.
Melon's OG.
Well, I guess I got my own personal goals this year to switch it up. But yeah, I do like the melon with that rotation. It just puts me on my feet every time. Like if I'm in a situation where
Makes one of us. Continue. Though.
oh, I need to, this is like the clip and I need to put something down, like I'll just go for that because I know it's like high success rate, But I really want to start stepping away from the like high success tricks in my head and just start working on some new stuff. Keep it fresh.
I like that. You know what I think of you for a lot of times? I think about your front 7 melon too. I feel like that's a special move for you.
Yeah, that's one that just comes around to my feet like every time.
You could say that train's never late.
No, that train's on time.
That train's never late.
Yeah, for
All
sure.
right, Seth, what you got?
I wouldn't say I have a signature trick, but a go-to trick for sure, like front board or, I would love to say my signature trick's a back lip, but I think JP owns that one. So, but front side 7, yeah, off a jump, just like if there's a go-to, it's that. At one point I had like switch front 5s, like that was my go-to, but I don't know, I lost it. I got to get it back. So, yeah, I mean, there's a few out there that feel easier, but, some people, like, they have signature tricks, so it's cool.
Yep, and then we can get into that. I think for me, I always beat the brakes off of switchback rodeo 5s and switchback lips.
Switchback lip,
and switchback
for sure.
That's a sick one.
Those ones are just literally just beat the brakes off of. So we got, and then part 3, I was thinking about this one. What snowboarder has their best of their signature trick? I mean, obviously, Luif back to fakie comes to mind. I thought about Torgeir Bergham's switchback 5 to late method.
Yep.
Haldor's got the lobster roll. Those are the ones that you can go back in time to like origination, like Peter Line, back rodeo 7 or whatever. Or Engelsman or whatever, that's kind
Daniel
of
Frank,
up for debate.
frontside rodeo.
Daniel Frank, frontside rodeo, yeah. But I don't know, the 2 ones that I think, like I really feel like the switchback 5 late method that Torgeir does really feels like that's like his special move,
Yeah.
You guys got any other ones?
I think the teabag. And we can talk about Blum. We can talk about Reed. There's
good
like
call.
a very special category of that.
Yeah.
Which explain to the listeners what that trick is.
It's a frontside invert, and you go to fakie, but it's like a opposite.
Twist back.
Yeah, so it's like a pretzel out, I guess, but not a full pretzel. Also, another one, we tried to get him on the phone, the tail block. I think Scott Stevens and tail blocks.
Cool.
Yeah, I like the teabag move because if you do it right, like it's like you didn't do anything at all.
Oh my God, it's so
Because you go up and you go for the frontside invert and then somehow get your body to twist back to the same direction that you left the lip. You know, like all your momentum has to be stopped, and it's just like this quick little foot swivel that gets you right back to where you were, like how you took off. It's crazy.
It's like an actual forward motion to actual
To like
rewind.
reverse.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It's
What do they
wild.
call it from the Andrecht version? Is it
Mandrect.
Mandrect?
Well, that's
Yeah.
no, that's the
No,
one to
Mandract
fakie.
is
That's
to
the one
fakie
yeah.
on backside. Terrible name.
Yeah.
The Mandrake.
Call it the Womandrect.
No,
There you go.
No, I do have a nice Mandrake though.
All right, I think that covers Lance's question. And I think we were just talking about something, and I saw a question from an Instagram person that I thought pertained. So Lance was talking about bringing up and coming people up. And this is from Berkeley, but the E's are threes. But it's supposed to read, it would actually be like B3 arc 3 LEY, but it's, anyway. So what does it take to go pro? Seth, I'm going to let you field this one because you turn people pro.
Yeah, I mean, what does it take to be pro? It's a mindset. And that mindset is like turning a passion and an art form or whatever you want into your job. Like you are a representative. You are like, you're going to work. So you got to have a right mindset. And then with all that, you know, you got to have all the background as far as like the reps and the skill and your own specific style and how you want to portray yourself. You got to kind of know yourself, of like who you want to be, what you want to do on a snowboard. You got to have goals. You know, you got to like, maybe not like, oh, I got goals, I want to achieve this, but you got to know what your direction is, I think, you know, especially in this day and age too. So there's a million different things that, you know, you could kind of go down each different wormhole of like what it takes to be a pro or what does it mean to be a pro. But yeah, I think mostly it's just like accepting, understanding, like this is your job. It's, you know, it's not always going to be fun. It's not always going to be glamorous, but you're going to do it. And, you know, what you're doing and people paying you for it, there's an expectation or an accountability that you have to live up, not really live up to, but you have to, you know, succeed.
Yeah.
So
I have an opinion about this.
Let's go.
Fire it up. Let's go, Des.
All right, so a couple cool things have happened in snowboarding in the last couple of years. I would say that we have made progress in diversifying our landscape. I think the term pro snowboarder got a little convoluted in that progression, and I think this is controversial. I think this is, you know, an opinion from somebody who has skin in the game. I think, you know, brands have lost sight a little bit of what the job title of professional snowboarder entails. And, you know, for me, especially like whatever I have an opinion about the female side of the landscape, like first and foremost, you have to be good at snowboarding. You need to be a good snowboarder to go pro. And I think there's a lot of entitlement right now. I think that there's a lot of confusion. But also, I don't think it's ill-meant. I think that it's brands trying to actually diversify the landscape and actually you know, create progress and change. And I think, you know, it's really important to recognize, like, we can still diversify and we can progress, but you don't get to, you know, hand out pro like candy. You know, it really devalues the work that a lot of people have put in. So I think that's an interesting, like, that's the world that I live in. You know, it's like, I know Seth wasn't really thinking about like the gender side of it when he gave his response, but I think, you know, for any individuals who don't identify as male, you know, or looking into pursuing this career, sport, whatever, like, get good. And then what you're going to see happen after that is going to be really natural. And like what Seth touched on, you know, it's like there is a work ethic. There is a, you know, a way to present yourself. There is a vibe to have. And, you know, that comes with like a bit of humility as well. But before all that, snowboard.
The reps.
Some of the wisest shit I've ever heard on the show. Yeah, continue. What do you got, Cocard?
Oh, I don't really have anything. That you said that perfectly, I thought, and yeah, Seth, you touched on it too. I think you just got to snowboard and get good at what you're doing and set goals for yourself, and don't take no for an answer. You know, be the squeaky wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think
Advocate for
too,
yourself.
being good at snowboarding for sure. And it's like, and being professional, it's like, yes, there's like amazing snowboarders that aren't professional.
Yes.
And then there's professionals that aren't amazing snowboarders. Good point. So it's like, you know, and it kind of, it's all subjective, and it's up to like, you know, who are you pro for? What are you pro for? Why, you know, so then it comes down to like brands and like all that kind of different things. So there's a million different ways we could look at it. But I guess I was kind of going for more like my textbook, I guess, answer. Like, what's a pro? Yeah, this is your job.
Yep.
You know, and
I think there's a bunch of stuff here. You know, I do love what Des said. I think, like, first and foremost, if you go snowboarding and everybody that's watching you's jaw is on the fucking floor, then you need to be really good. Like that's key. Like, this is a skill-based sport.
That's the first step.
That's the first step. And I think, you know, we're in the bubble of a lot of comparison because we're in the industry of people talking about this and that and things like that of like who's getting what and this. But like, generally speaking, like you gotta be great at what you do. And then I think that you have to be cool. Like you gotta be, you know, respected by your peers. Because really, at the end of the day, when somebody turns pro, it's all of our peers being like, yeah, that's the person. That's the person. That makes sense. You need all your peers to be like, that makes sense. They've put in the work. They won all their regional contests. They filmed a bunch of parts. They're putting out bangers. They're the person right now. They are ready to be pro. They've gone through the motions. It's not, Gary did a trick on the rail. I did that same trick at my local park. I need to be pro.
I should be pro.
Because the thing that people don't realize is that when you're pro, you're being paid. So if I'm a brand and I pay you 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, whatever month, 200, 300, 10 grand, 2 grand, whatever that is, whatever that amount of money is, if I give you 20 grand, the brand needs to make 20 grand back to just break even on their investment, right? So like, are you also the person that like people are interested in? And that's a factor in my opinion too, from a person that owns a brand standpoint. Like, if you want to continue to sustain a brand, you need to sell products, and that's what your job is as a pro. Is that you're an influencer, and you got to be good at what you do. And there's different lanes. Like, you look at contest people, and dude, I feel the worst for them because there's contest riders that can do triple corks in 1800s, and they're better than everybody, and they don't have a board sponsor. And that's like the most unfair shit ever, because they're in their world, and it's you know, and they're scraping by. You get fifth at a FIS event, and you get $200, and you spent your whole life, you know, becoming the best snowboarder in the world, but for whatever reason, because it hasn't translated to the brands, because Seth, who's the Volcom team manager, isn't looking at FIS results. He's not looking, okay, I got the FIS sheet that just came in. He's just like, damn, this person's got the flavor, this person doesn't. So I don't know, that was a long-winded rant, but those are, Des, I saw you shaking your head. What you got?
I mean, once we go into like the marketing side of the conversation, you know, you brought it up where you're like, okay, a brand puts 20 grand into a rider. The brand needs to see that 20 grand in return in that investment. And I think it's like, sometimes there's loopholes, and then sometimes there's like toxic things, you know. It's like, we saw the influencer movement happen, and the model thing, especially for women, you know, it's like, you can send an influencer a pro board and a jacket, and they're going to have 20,000 click-throughs to direct sales. Does that mean they should replace me? You know, does that mean that they should replace like your top tier, like female pro who only has 8,000 Instagram followers? That person's doing the job better than the pro snowboarder.
Well, I think that's kind of like what Johan was saying a couple weeks back.
Yep.
That's like a piece of the pie, you know, but your brand isn't going to be recognized in the core snowboard world without Desiree.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
So to jump in real quick too on that, I think like looking at the way snowboard videos how snowboarding's been presented for a long time is, back in the day, the only media outlets we had were magazines and videos. So the only way to get media coverage was through a pro snowboarder getting a photo in a magazine or a video part or, winning a contest, right? That was it. Now, as the landscape has changed where there are influencers and there are Google ad sales and there are things that help sell product that isn't just the pro snowboarder, that it's the pro snowboarder is always the tip of the spear. It's always the most important. It's always the driving force. However, there's other little like subcategories that can also help move the needle to sell products.
Yeah, and so basically what I was getting at is I truly believe it's the brand's responsibility to differentiate between the pro rider and the other ways in which they can generate income based off of their product. And I think that's where it's like, no, like the influencer doesn't get to be a pro snowboarder. There has to be another category. And it's like
in that situation though, like just speaking to that, the influencer, I would look at that as an ad. I wouldn't look at that. I wouldn't look at that in the rider bucket because that influencer is wearing the Desiree kit.
Sure.
And you can't put she's got to, and to sell that, they're going to be wearing your kit, and that person can't replace you because you're the story driving that kit. You're the clout. You're everything. I would look at that as that's an ad placement. That's not a rider replacement.
I would say, but okay, I'm a unique situation too. I'm not necessarily talking just about myself. I'm just talking about the brand's responsibility to still have top tier pro riders. Male, female at that is what makes your brand. And then it's the brand's responsibility to almost even help those riders become the professionals that the brands expect them to be too. Like where, as far as like, whatever, you get the 20 grand, we need to see the 20 grand back. How does a rider know what that looks like? I think it's on the brand to make sure that the riders are set up for success, to succeed in doing that. I think to have the expectation that the riders know how to do that is... you're setting them up for failure, maybe.
Yeah.
That's like where my mind went. I don't really know the general direction that was the point in which I wanted to make, where it's like
eloquent point.
Yeah.
You made that point very eloquently. I love that. And then, at the end of the day, who the brands, it's kind of a fucking crazy thing to think about. It actually,
it's a lot.
It is because like the brands are the ones who put you on.
Yeah.
And so like, there's a lot of snowboarders that are the same ability level, but then for whatever combination of reasons, 32 signs me and I'm in a poster and now I'm on a poster on a kid's wall because a brand chose to have me be that person.
Right.
I didn't end up on that wall and so it is the brands bolstering the people that are the right people, right? That we think are right, that we think embody the culture of the sport, the core of the sport, the heartbeat of who we are, to be the ones on a quote unquote pedestal. It's important.
Yeah.
To us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, like to evolve on it, it's like the brands are in charge of creating the opportunity, creating the representation, creating the following. Like it's on the brands to do that, but then it's on the riders to show the fuck up.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, where it's like, I think there's a lot of riders who don't take advantage of opportunities or like they don't understand the value in the opportunity and don't really understand like the thing where it's also like, damn, just show up. Like, and that's going to like whatever elevate you to the level of pro that like Seth was talking about.
That could be like getting caught up in the ego a little bit too. Like, I'm fucking pro now. Like, I don't need to do this, like blah, 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 you know? You get a little cocky and then, a couple years down the line that might disappear.
Yeah.
I mean, generally speaking, I like to look at all marketing like a story. You got to tell a good story. You got to have good characters and everything else. And then at the end of the day, when you got that book or that video or whatever it is, then you got to get it out there. Mm-hmm. It's just a bigger picture process. It isn't just one thing anymore. It's not cut and dried, and it's not a replacement. It's definitely like, it's up to the brand or whoever it is to understand that, like, we want that person because this is what they bring, and they're awesome at snowboarding. They have great personality. So, tell that story. Yeah,
great point. And that's the thing. I think just thinking about contest riders, you think about these riders that are just phenomenal. They a lot of them come from a background of just like sport, essentially, right? Where it's like, I'm going to do the hardest tricks possible. And they're so focused on the sport that you don't have the story to buy into. You don't have the like. You're not rooting for them like a character, you know?
Because
like,
you don't know them.
Because you don't know them.
Yeah.
You know their tricks, but we want to buy into characters. Like, I want to know who to cheer for. I need to know who to cheer for. Give me something about yourself that I'm like, I fuck with this person.
Give me the bad guy.
Yeah,
give me the good guy. Give me the hero.
Like, running some shit over with a fucking car. Or like, be like, whatever. Just be like.
Well, I think that's where the video part stuff comes in, because you get to see all that personality.
Yeah.
And like their lifestyle and what they're into. And yeah, you just get that personal connection with somebody when you're watching their video part. I think that can really like launch someone's career. Someone comes out with an amazing video part, and you're like, I feel like I know this person. Like, they're sick. I get them. Like, here's what they're into. And yeah.
What about Dylan Oaktree?
Good point.
What about
He's
Dylan?
a shredder.
Sick.
I mean, like, I feel like there's somebody who like made video projects, has put out video parts, but just isn't really sponsored. And it's like the level of his writing is undeniable. And like for me, like watching, or like maybe I'm biased, like maybe I'm attached, you know, like where I'm like a fan of the kid. But like that's the thing, like he's putting out like pro writing or pro level writing on the feature, like in the project, packaging it all up. Doesn't have any sponsors.
Yeah, I think that would be more like the brand side of things, right? No one's really aligned themselves with someone like that who's out there killing it and has this like A-grade footage to back it up and has a great personality and great style. And they're just like, for some reason, aren't fitting in with someone's image of like where they want their brand to go.
I mean, or it's on the person too. I do think it could be on Dylan.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not Dylan, but just whatever
That's a good
observations.
question.
You know, sidebar, Cocard, I feel like, you know, you've done a really good job of aging like a fine wine.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you keep getting better.
It's kind of crazy.
How old are you, Cocard?
I told you, I just turned 25.
You just turned 25. Okay. But yeah, you just keep...
Plus 10.
Yeah. But it's been awesome. Like, you never took your foot off the gas, and you keep getting better, and you didn't lose the drive. Like, you know, how do you keep the freshness going?
I do not know the answer to that. Yeah, I have no idea. I'm extremely motivated, like really motivated personally. And yeah, like you said, taking advantage of opportunities that are given to you, like that's so important to keep your career alive and just keep the passion and like the love for what you're doing. And like, you know, it's easy to get caught up in all the bullshit and like, oh, I did this and this and this. But if you're just genuinely out there, like wanting to fall in love with the sport again or whatever it is, like wherever you are on your journey, yeah, just keep the passion, keep it alive, and don't second guess yourself. Like, you know.
Yeah, the passion seems like that's got to be
Yeah,
that's got to be I mean, all of us, we've been in the game for a minute.
Yeah, everyone's sitting.
constant reinvention.
Yeah, constant reinvention.
I've kind of, I just think about crazy stuff all day, you know, but it's like constant reinvention. You know, are you burnt? Are you bored? You know, do you still want to do you still have that 14-year-old passion to get up in the morning, get your boots on, and can't wait to get to the hill? You know, it's a constant, just like, you need to go. You know, you need to make yourself entertained, and you need to make yourself have fun, because if you're not, then you'll get burned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
I think something interesting about the four of us sitting here is each of us have, you know, paid the dues and done the snowboarding thing, but then we each invested in like an additional skill set that we were able to apply back to snowboarding culture that in a way I do think has shaped like the longevity of our careers. Like Seth, example, like you're a team manager, you're still a pro snowboarder, but I think like you taking like the business approach and just like tacking that on, it's like all of a sudden you have longevity. Chris, you became like this media person, you know, where it's like you tried a lot of things prior to like the bomb hole working, and you like have this like very eclectic like type of skill set, but the thing that everybody knew about you was you're really good at talking, you know, so all of a sudden it's like you were able to like monetize the talking and have that become a skill set that, you know, complemented your history as like a professional snowboarder. Like for me with the mental health stuff and the artist stuff, and then mentorship, and then with Cocard with music. And it's just like even like the ways I don't know, you're still pumping out video parts. And that shit to me is like, I'm like, damn.
So sick.
Yeah, I think we're all just in a position where we want to keep doing it for as long as possible, as long as our bodies will let us. And I think if that's where our mindsets are, then what's going to stop us, you know?
Do you think kids think we're milking it?
I don't know. Keyword right there is want.
Yeah.
Like you gotta want. You gotta want to get up. You gotta want to go. You gotta want to keep yourself entertained. Because like, there's a lot of amazing people that have done amazing things, like far greater things than I've ever even been a part of, like in snowboarding or whatever. And then you hear, oh yeah, I'm doing whatever now, and you're just like, they just stopped wanting to be here. And for you know, myself, I can only really speak for myself, but it's like, I just want to be here. Whether it's however I can be here, I want to be here. I want to hike up to the spot and hit a rail in the woods and do a basic 50-50, and it just feels so good. And it's like, you know what? I'm like 46 years old and still 50-50 in rails in the woods. Like, what the hell? Or front boarding, you know? And it's and I know it's so stupid, and I posted and I'm like, whatever, you know? But it's like, it's still, you're just like, you're still grinding, you know? That's amazing.
It's not stupid because you think about people that we grew up with that became quote unquote adults and like got the job and the thing, and they look fucking old. They're like, you're like, dude, we're the same age. You look fucking 30. And it's like the fact that think about what have you been doing since the last time I saw you when you were 15? Literally the same thing. Like nothing's changed. You still love snowboarding, and it keeps you young. And going back to what you were saying earlier, I think about that when you're like, what is the defining factor of somebody that's going to turn pro? And I think it's the most important one, I think, is drive. And I think if the drive continues, like with people sitting at this table, like it's when the drive starts fading and drive can come in different ways, but the drive being the most important. You take a kid with every resource. We're going to give you a coach. We're going to send you all over the world to summer camps. We're going to send you to schools, and they have every opportunity to become the best. If they don't have that drive and they don't have that fucking dog in them, it ain't going to work. Inversely, it's like you take a fucking addict that has no money, that is completely fucking homeless, and you know, to make the example to an extreme, they are going to find a way to get their fix in the same way that a snowboarder is going to find a way to get a clip, to learn a new trick, to become better. And if they're that drive, the drive being talent and drive rarely are paired together. And when you have that, you have a combination of, that's Bodie. Bodie's talent and drive combined. So that's like that's a white buffalo type of situation. But like the drive is definitely the fucking meat and potatoes of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was a rant.
I love that.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Doesn't happen often, but
Cool. All right, let's talk about Oakley. They got their new team collection that has dropped. I've seen Sage Kotzenberg running his kit. It's fresh. It's yellow with some kind of olive green, and it hits. He's got the matching goggle. I know Stale's got his kit as well. So if you're looking for a new, fresh outerwear kit, check out the Oakley team collection. And they have new innovation in their helmets. I run an Oakley helmet. They have the Oakley Mod 3. It's got great venting, so your goggles don't fog. Great helmet to goggle integration. They just pair up nicely. I run the Line Miner Pro. It pairs nicely with your helmet. So be sure to check out that Oakley Mod 3 and the new innovation that they put in that. And then they're also doing their Oakley Community Days this winter. And be sure to check their website as they announce days of when and where that's coming. It's really fun. They bring out their whole team, all kinds of heavy hitters. Last year they had Stale Sandback and Sage and Patty, and Yuki Kadono was there. It was a great squad. So be sure to check out Oakley Community Days as they announce the dates. All right, let's talk Woodward Park City. Their park is firing right now. They got some medium jumps. They got some small jumps. They got good rails. The steel is sliding well this year. They got everything from a beginner slope all the way to advanced. So doesn't matter your ability level. There's something for you at Woodward. and there's always good, fun people to ride with. I just show up half the time. I don't even show up with any homies, and you end up finding the homies, which is what I love about it. They also have night riding. So if you want to ride after work, great place to check out. They also have lift tickets for $40. Beautiful thing. And if you're looking for a month-long pass, it's $119 for unlimited outdoor riding. That's cheaper than a lift ticket at many resorts. So Woodward is amazing. The tubing's fun. If you want to go on a date with somebody that doesn't snowboard, take them tubing. You guys will have a good time. And then, of course, they got the skate park, which has the parkour area, and it's got the foam pit. If you want to learn how to do back rodeos into the foam pit, you can check that out. And then you can take it to snow, like Cocard mentions in this episode. So be sure to check that out. Also, if you want to skate all winter long, they got a heated indoor skate park. So be sure to check out Woodward. It's a good place to have fun with your friends. Simple as that. You know, to kind of change gears for a second too, I always think about, like, I'm a fan of snowboarding, and you know, like with snowboarding, like I like competitive snowboarding too. Like we always talk about the video parts, but like I wanna cheer at the X Games. I want to cheer at natural selection. I want to celebrate half pipe contests. And I don't know. I wish that there was like that had a better structure, you know. And I don't have solutions, so I don't want to shoot holes in things. But I found out like the Olympic judges make $90 a day to judge the Olympics. Bomb Hole Cup, we pay our judges $500 a day. We're fucking over 5x what the Olympics is paying, and we're a regional event. And it's like, you know, thinking about how do we like, you know, take what we're doing and become more cohesive as a community, because I don't think they have funding. You know, you get 5th place in a World Cup and you fly to China, you make fucking $200.
Yeah.
You know, and so I guess with that being said, let's talk about contests, because I have some recent results, and I don't want to. I want to make sure we talk about some of the big airs that happened recently in half pipe. So I'm going to run through some stuff. Edmonton big air. Do you guys have anything to add to that before I go on to my?
I mean, $90 for like what, a day?
$90 a day.
Yeah, it's not a lot of money.
That seems
That's
really
not
low.
a lot of money. Also, like, I don't know, like there could become a point in time when we start unionizing and like figure out healthcare and like evolve from just being like 1099 athletes.
Yeah.
To me, it's like you said how to make it, and it's like, to me, I just got to go back to it, and I just got to say, make it a better story.
Yeah.
Make it a better story. Make it something that you can follow. Make it something that matters. Make it something that, like, not that it doesn't matter now, but I just make it a better story.
Yeah.
You know, like WSL does a good job for the surf tour.
Natural selection does a good job.
Yeah, they do a great. They make a great story. X Games,
X Games does a great job. And going back to like FIS, you know, and I know there's good people working over there. Like the judges are fucking love snowboarding, and they get paid $90 a day, and they get shit on all day long by dickheads like me.
Oh yeah.
And so, you know, there's people that care, but at the end of the day, when they do an event, like I was like, all right, I want to make sure we shed light on some contest snowboarding. So I go on YouTube, I type in like, you know, Beijing, Big Air, Edmonton, and it says like race results, FIS race results. I'm like, this isn't a fucking race. This is a big air contest. There's nobody's racing. Like but it's like, again, being run by ski racers. It's like we as snowboarders are governed by a governing body of fucking old ski racers. And so that's where
the fact that you were able to find those results,
yeah, it's impressive.
That's amazing.
No, it should be a general thing where it's like, this is another, like, you know, space for opportunity. Like, we should have new contests. We should have evolved things with people in our community running what's going on instead of relying on outdated, like, dinosaur like approaches to like highlight our sport, our activity, like the things that nobody in our community can really align with, and these people who are like out there grinding, getting the points, and like trying to present as a part of the culture in a different world, like in a different galaxy. It's like this thing where it's like, oh my God, at what point do we actually just like take it back? And it's like, contest snowboarding is cool. It's sick. It's incredible. It's amazing. The ways in which it's presented right now is doing our culture a complete it's just it's bad. So it's like, at what point is someone, and like once again, like natural selection, super cool adjustment, and also community events, still great things. But like on the bigger scales, like at what point is somebody just going to be like, all right, cool, let's actually fix this? Like it's a thing waiting to happen.
And the best coverage I saw when I was looking for all these events, the best coverage that I found was the riders that make vlogs. Like Darcy Sharp went to Edmonton, he made a vlog about the whole thing. I'm like, I'm getting behind the scenes footage of getting people strapping in. I'm getting practice. I'm getting bails. I'm getting personality. I watch Mark Mick's vlog. I'm getting personality. I'm getting bails. I actually kind of like get a feel for what's happening. Otherwise, you just see like people just chucking off of a jump, like land. You're like, holy fuck, what was that? That was insane. But like, again, we need to know the story. So we'll start with the Beijing Big Air that happened. That was December 2nd, first contest of the year. Su Yuming dominated 184. I didn't watch that one. I don't know what he did. Ryoma Kimata got second, and Kira Kimura got third. And then for women's Big Air, Anna Gasser got first. Tess Cody got second. And Mayaba Onatasu, I butchered that, got third. Yeah, Miyambi. Okay, thank you for correcting me on that. So that one I didn't really see, but I watched the Edmonton kind of recap. That one was wild. So we can start with women's Big Air. Zoe, monumental. She did a switchback 12 nose grab, which would switch tail grab or regular nose grab. And like she does it like a switchback 9 and then dumps the last one like fully inverted. And it's just fucking gangster. And then a back 10. So I like that one too because she spun 2 different directions, which I think should be rewarded more because a lot of people are spinning cab and backside, which whole nother can of worms. Won't get into that. Mia Brooks got second. She's been dominating. And then Anna Gasser got third. So Anna's got a first and a third in the first 2 Big Airs. And then Taiga Hasegawa crushed. I think he did 18s. He did 3 18s and landed all of them. That kid is psychotic. I think he's young. He's like got to be 17 or 18. Su Yuming got second, and Red Gerard got third. So that Edmonton Big Air, check out Darcy Sharp's vlog if you want good coverage of that. And then Copper had a Grand Prix Big Air and half pipe. So for men's Big Air, Hiroaki Kanutaki. I'm sorry I said your name so poorly. Got first. Sam Vermont got second, and Red Gerard got third. And then women's Big Air, Kokomo Marasi, monumental. She did a cab 12, I believe, I'm pretty sure, and a back 14. And the cab 12, she stomped like she took Tylenol PM and like a tranquilizer dart to the neck and just had Stoy Lando beans. It was just She had straight Stoy Lando beans. It was really fun to watch. Mary Fukada got second, and then Mia Brooks got third. Mia's been on a tear. And then for half pipe, Ayumu got first. Sean Lee got second, and third went to Yuto. And then Scotty James fell, but which was rare. So he got 8th, I think. Or I don't know if he fell, but he got 8th. So I'm guessing he fell. I don't know. Seems like if Scotty James lands a run, he's in the top 3.
Yeah, he probably fell.
But again, it's such a fucking nightmare to find footage of these contests that I can't. I'm trying. I have a media company. And we're trying to like cover this, and I like don't even know how to fucking find it. It's a nightmare. And women's half pipe. I'm going to butcher these names. So first, Gyeon Choi and Mitsuki Ono got second, and then Maddie Mastro got third. So that's the contest scene. I wanted to run through some quick results, and but there's some monumental stuff that's happened so far this year, like that Kokomo cab 12 back 14. If I got that wrong, I'm sorry, but I think that's what it was.
I love watching the women's contest scene right now. It is so inspiring and just insane.
Yeah,
like the guys stuff, obviously fucking crazy. And yeah, you get past like 16 something, I'm a little bit lost. And I just like don't really appreciate it that much. I mean, I can appreciate it, but yeah, not really my thing. But the girls, they're doing like these like cab 12s, like Mia Brooks, like you said, like she did this cab 10 the other day that was just absolutely mind blowing. And I think I'm like starting to lean more towards like what the girls are doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just they're doing big tricks, gnarly stuff, but it's not enough spins where there's like there's still style. There's still a lot of style in what they're doing, and I'm just like a huge fan.
It's such a cool point in time because this is historically like for somebody like me, or like I know a couple of my peers who like whatever, we came up in the generation of like the men forever were just talking shit on the girls' contest runs, and like it was like there's so much discourse about the Olympics and the ways that like it's like, oh, I can't believe this person's pro. Like so many dudes on the couch are like, I could fucking do this, and like there was such a shitty narrative surrounding it. And now we're like in this time where it's like mind-blowing riding, and it's like more interesting from the girls' side, and it's like cool. Like we watched it happen. Like we watched snowboarding progress over the last 12 years. And you see the results. It's incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Couldn't agree more. All right, let's see if Steven's texting me back. Oh, Scotty texted me. Okay, what's he saying here? Shit, just seeing this now. Are we still on? All right, let's give Scott Stevens a call. This could be a train wreck.
Straight to voicemail.
Person you're trying to reach.
Wow, okay, let's try that one again. See if Sleepy Steven's going to answer.
Shoot, I'm sorry, man.
You there?
Do not disturb. Oh, yeah.
Your voice sounds like a...
It's probably on your mixer. He sounded like that, yeah. You got a dart in your neck.
Voice on him.
You're crazy, man.
Dart in the neck.
Yo, dude.
It's still
Dude,
like
There he is. No, I think that's right.
Yeah. You there?
Yo, what's up, Chris?
Dude, no, it's still weird.
Your voice...
I think you just woke up.
Dude, your voice sounds crazy, dude.
I don't know what to say.
Hang on, dude.
Scott, you been lifting weights? Like, what's going on? You sound like super buff. Beefcake.
No, I don't know. I mean, I've been carrying a lot of others, but is it better now?
Let me call you on FaceTime audio. Oh, that one got me so bad. All right, we're calling Scott Stevens.
Hello?
There you are. You sound great now.
Yeah. What did you say? I sounded
Dude,
like
sounded
prior?
like you've been like taking steroids and just like it was your voice was like, hey, what's up? It's Scott.
It sounded like the dart in the neck from the fucking movie that you guys quote
did.
all the time.
You were tranquilizer dart in the neck, Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
I'm trying to place these voices I'm hearing, but I almost had it.
Okay, Stevens. Well, let's talk about. Let's talk.
Good luck.
I'm getting right into it. We're gonna get right into it. So we're gonna go. Let's talk about the tail block that you did in Mammoth. You got in there. You just augured that.
There's not much to talk about.
There is a lot to talk about. You got in there. You augured your tail and you yoinked method, and it was a thing of beauty. You're on a stiff board. I have a question for you.
It's not that stiff.
Is it the year? Is it the year of the tail block? Are they coming back?
Well, I mean, it's just like a no comply for me, or like some '80s tricks. They don't leave. It's just like if you're passionate about something, you stick with it if you like doing it. So tail block never left for me, but there's still so much to do with it, So, and then Bertner and I were saying that, just with a little bit of the low snow year, it could be the year of the jib,
That was a take that we had. I can't take credit for that. That was a Catfish Chronicles. Chaz came up. He asked, "Is it the year of the tail block?" And I said, "I'm going to do some digging into this because, like you said, low snow year. If there's no powder to be had and you don't have much terrain to ride, all you need is a little bank." And you can block some tail.
Yeah, I remember Chaz blocking way back in High Cascade days with the Otterstrom Rising Sun Academy board. I remember that. Or maybe I'm tripping. Maybe we were on those, but I remember doing tail blocks with him. He's good at them.
Well, I was curious, Scott. What are if you had to go, what's the fucking thing called with all the people's faces in it? And the big
Mount Rushmore.
If you were to do a Mount Rushmore tail blocks, what do you got? I need to know.
Okay, well, yeah, you're putting me on the spot here, but I think So I'm hoping you talked to Pat Bridges, right?
The Blockfather.
No, I haven't. Just called
Okay,
you.
well, I think you have to put Kurt Heine on there because of the one in Hard Hungry, or is it in Up in the Ante? I think it's Hard Hungry. That would have been maybe one of the first ones ever done, and it was on the coping of Mount Hood Timberline pipe. So Kurt Heine would have to be on there, He's the OG. Okay, I have a public service announcement because I recall a photo of Todd Richards in '88 doing a tail block on a Sims board, and that would be before Kurt's. So yeah, I asked Todd about it, and he said they called them chopsticks. He said they used to do them in the lift line at Gunstock, and I thought that was amazing. Basically, that Todd has never claimed that he's the creator of this trick, and I had to basically force it out of him. But yeah, so Todd Richards, and then he said that he saw it next done by Matt Cummings, and he did a blunt one with a mute. And then, yeah, so these are all like prior to 1993, which, it's light years ahead when you think about snowboarding's age and like the freestyle tricks that were getting done. But yeah, obviously its origins are in skateboarding, but when you do it on a snowboard, it's, I've claimed it's an NBD, bringing something from there. But anyhow, that's my public service announcement. With all that being said, I'm going to update my Mount Rushmore to Todd, Matt Cummings, Kurt Heine, and I'd love to see Lucas's face up there because he is one of the best at tail blocks. So yeah, Magoon. So that's my new Mount Rushmore of tail blocks. And then there's a movie called Far East, I think it's called. RJ Films. It's like an East Coast. My parents bought it for me when I was really young. But there's a dude in there. I can't place his name right now. He does a real epic one, but he's not on there. He should be on there, but
that's an honorable mention.
I can't remember his name, to be completely honest. But I've seen Forrest Bailey do some crazy ones, dude. Just like so casually. I there's some that I've seen him do that he's never filmed, that I just saw him do from a distance. And I was like, oh shit, I've never seen that ever. But Forrest Bailey would probably be on there. Me and Beresford learned them together when they kind of made their comeback in the early 2000s. So Beresford would be on there for me. And then a fourth one, just because I think this trick was so legendary when he did it. I'm really like doing these off a whim right now. Would be Ben Bilodeau, because he did that that block and then he flipped out of it, and he was the first one to ever to my knowledge try that, and that was just so crazy to like pair those two tricks, like 10 years ago or whatever. So that's a quick one. and then Bridges like oversees it all,
Mm-hmm. Great one.
What about Gunnar?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lucas is right on there too. I just put those guys because I like when I watch some of those guys do it, I'm like, oh shit, I don't think I can do those ones, like. Well, Heine's on there because he's OG. Is this Dez? Was that Dez's voice?
Oh yeah, you got Dez, Cocard,
okay,
Seth Huot, and of course Silk D here as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a squad. What's up, dudes?
Hey, Scott.
What up,
ladies? Yeah, sorry, I'm just I'm chatting away over here. What do you guys think? I mean, I'm probably forgetting some people. Seth, you could probably help me out with the origin of the tail block. I think it's Heine.
I can't.
Yeah, he was staying on
I'm
the
no
steel.
help.
He was staying on the steel. You know what comes to mind is I seen Jed Sky do some crazy ones too.
Oh yeah, Jed is like, I mean, the only reason I didn't bring him up, he would be in my top 10 for sure. The only reason is just because I'm big on like chronological order, like anybody that predates me, I will never rise above.
Respect.
Yeah, that's insane. I think the conversation got started because of the tail block that you filmed in Mammoth, though. I think a couple people have all agreed, and maybe you should put like it in the video here, but it's definitely probably the best tail block ever filmed. in the history of Roblox.
That's incredible. I mean, I'm honored by that. Yeah. I mean, I got to give a lot of credit to Jeff Huot because like he will let me do these things that like, you know, could go absolutely nowhere, and he'll persevere with me till like one like kind of magic one happens. But Des, I was having fun doing it on that bank with you. That was really fun.
I mean, we got to get creative, you know.
Dude, I wanna just because we're on the topic, Jed Sky is definitely on there. He's done a lot that I had never seen, but you know, I got to give a shout out to Casey Mitchell because he's very passionate about blocks, and we actually call that spot up at Hood. We call it Fort Casey, the watershed thing. And then I also wanted to. There was one other person that I was like really wanted to talk about. Oh, Renee, because he's
good call.
He's like, I mean, he's done some unfathomable ones, you know. And Bodie did the Billet flip too. And then what was that other guy's name? Was it Xander?
Yes. Yeah, he's
Xander, black one.
Yeah. I mean, and then, you know, like you can never not count Bodie in one of these polls. I mean, he's obviously taken it to, we call it a Bodie level, you know, when it kind of like he's so good at taking things so far that like it's like Frank Borg, you know, like it's like, okay, yeah, we'll watch them. It's kind of like when you watch those guys ride, they do snowboarding such a service to take it as far as it can be pushed. And then, you know, it's like, I'm getting off topic here. I'm sorry.
You know what I think's interesting though? Because you think about, like, I think about us riding back east, Mount Snow, and it's not like we're going full speed down to the park. It's like every undulation in the snow, we're whipping a front flip or a back three or a back one, and oh, there's a little bank, let's do a tail block. And it's like you work your way down the mountain slowly, and you hit everything at a slow speed, but everybody gets some on things that aren't even to the untrained eye a thing to snowboard on. So I feel like the smaller East Coast, Midwest routes, I think, lend themselves, like that style of snowboarding, to the tail block.
I'm going to say that happens on the West Coast too. This is not just an East Coast thing.
We're so prideful, you know.
Agree to disagree, but yeah, continue.
And yeah, I want to credit, like, for what Chris is talking about. I want to credit Bridges because Bridges really brought it back for me. I saw him in Flood mid 2000s, and that's when Beresford and me and Ross Phillips is incredible at tail blocks too. Like really, you know, like, you know, just get carried away with these. And then the whole Think crew I was running with, and we were running with, like, everybody was, we were just loving the little moves like that, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Building blocks.
And there's been a lot of evolution where you have, you know, Bridges has the shake the baby, where you pop into the tail block, you shake your nose violently back and forth. You know, there's been crail blocks and blunt blocks and different types of blocks, but the old trusty, like the reason why we're talking about the one you did when we were in Mammoth is because when you get in that thing and you're 12 o'clock boys, and you're just statue of Gibberty for fucking, you know, longer than a second or two, and you're just in it. Like, when you get in that apex and you get to a long block, like, that's the pinnacle. It's not always about progression. It's about length. It's about girth, if you will.
Length and girth are different.
I appreciate that, dude. I'm gonna just take that. I would take that, Chris. I appreciate that, man. You know, because that was a fun moment for me. Yeah. But while we're on go, because I had one more thing that I wanted to
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna shoot just because, like, you know, I paid attention for so long for when this got done, when that got done. But I remember, speaking of Gunnar, me and Gunnar were at Bear for a VG shoot, and he did like the double pogo block on like the shed, and that was the first time I'd ever really seen that done on like a feature, you know. Mm-hmm. And I just love thinking back to like with the one Billet did, like, these are like huge moments for that trick, you know, where the trick evolves like crazy, you know. And then I think Bodie did it on block flipped on that, like, that crab grab board he made, right, or whatever, the one that he brought in the background. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then, like, you know, I really love that Beresford one from Hood where he just got locked into the pipe and was scraping down it, you know?
Yeah.
Pat Moore's got a mean block.
yeah. Pat Moore.
Yeah, Pat. Yeah, Pat was in. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, dude, you guys, I've just been freaking talking your ear off, so you guys throw some at me. Pat Moore for sure.
Well, that's why we called you, Scott. We wanted to hear.
I know.
We didn't call you to not have you talk.
I know. I just get. It's just like you can't shut me up once I start.
Well, it's fun to talk tail blocks. You know, we had a little. I think we're going to see an uptick in blocks. I'm looking. If we're doing a bit of a forecast this year, my prediction. You know, my Farmer's Almanac trick prediction. Uptick in blocks. That's where
we got a block pop.
Yeah, block stock. The block stock is going up.
Blocks. Invest in the block right now.
Let me throw another one at you that like I think I got from him. But dude, even just a simple like 15 years ago, you know, whatever. Like it's funny how like new some of these tricks are, you know. But like Scotty Arnold's the first one I ever seen do a back 180 tail block on a bank.
That is very challenging.
But it's funny because like these tricks are so commonplace now, but like I mean I feel like I remember when they got done, you know. So cool stuff.
Cool. Amazing, Stevens. We'll let you get back to dad duty, but
yeah,
thanks for chatting blocks with us. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, Seth, nice job on the Volcom video too. That was awesome. Cocard Brown video was my favorite.
Thanks, brother.
Unbelievable.
Skylar, definitely.
And, yeah, it was so sick, dude. It was towards you. That guy is like, he's something, dude. But anyhow, I could talk. You can let me go.
Thanks, Scott.
Love you, Scott.
Thanks, Steve.
Good talking.
Love you guys too.
We'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right, later, guys.
All right. That was great. Glad he called in. Even though he's dodging us all day. Made up for it. Totally redeemed himself.
Yep.
Yeah, the shake the baby. We're going to see an uptick in blocks. Oh, I got a good question. This is good segue. I got a good segue coming your way. This is from Big Air Jer. Street trick trend forecast. We got any trend forecasting here? Are we going to see any upticks in anything, 24 season? You guys think things are going to be going in a direction?
No idea. Kind of out of the game a little bit with the street forecasting. I don't know what's cool these days. Des
I feel like
knows.
it's a lot of people are talking about the art of like finding the spot, you know, and like I've noticed that conversation happening pretty recently. And I think we're just going to continue to see that. We're going to see the continue of the evolution of like, what is a spot? What makes a spot? And then I think, a really big thing is like photographing the spot, having the photos of these like iconic spots. Like that's, whatever. I just think that's something that has to go hand in hand with it. But I think it's just, the creatives finding these like crazy fucking things. Fuck Forrest Bailey's part, man.
Yeah.
Like
amazing.
that, it's pretty fucking crazy.
That ain't just spots though. He's doing tech ass tricks.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. That's like delivery.
Yeah.
Like that's delivery on some fucked up spots.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I think the tech level on heavy spots is going to go up.
That's what I hope to see. But what I see a lot of is spot boarding where people are like, I'm looking for the spot. I'm driving around, I'm just looking for spots. And like when you watch a video and somebody's like, damn, sick spot. I'm like, what about the trick? Like it should be, I'm like old school, I think from Scott and Cocard, I think you have this as well. And Bodie, like they've been infectious in the way that it's like the trick is, you look at what Scott snowboards on, it's a pile of shit.
Yeah.
It's a bench behind a school that's like, he's hitting with a drop-in ramp. Like, it's like the worst spot you've ever seen. But like the trick is incredible. And so I would actually like to see it going more towards trick progression. And when those things merge and you have a Forrest Bailey type of deal or a Tommy Gesme, a great trick on a beautiful spot. But some of these things are just like, people are just like a ride on. I don't like the ride on shit. Like call me old fashioned, call me an old head. Like when people like they just like drop in on a ledge and ride down it. I'm like, in my day, that wasn't a shot. Like you had to like jump on the ledge like it's a fucking ledge.
You had to ride into it.
Like it's.
You said something in Mammoth that has like stuck with me, and I do think I'm a culprit of this too, where you were like, the worst thing that you could maybe hear while someone's watching like your video part, or like for the person who's the snowboarder, the worst thing they could hear is, oh, 6 spot. Instead of like, or like, I don't know how you worded it, but instead of talking about what they did on the spot, the conversation is only about the spot. You're like, fuck.
I think the worst thing you can hear is, he had a cool song. Like, that was a sick song.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, trick for I mean I like tricks. I think I'd like to see it go more towards. We just went and did a real snow thing where I flew and reviewed all the real snows, and I was just like, in 2012, like Breezy and Luif and the shit that they were doing was like gnarly and tech, like tech gnar, and Luif specifically beautiful spots. Like you can merge. There's a merger of all these things. You can do hard tricks on cool spots. It doesn't have to be cool spot. No, man, I just got to keep it simple. I just want to. I think like, less is more. No, less isn't more. Like
I don't agree with you.
No. Like,
I fully do not agree with you.
No. That's a cop out. Less is more. I mean, you can do. There is a time and a place for less is more. But when like you're on the come up. Like, I'll say this. Kuzik has earned his right to less is more. Because Kuzik can fucking hardway cab to the rail. But he's going to hit a spot and it's going to be beautiful. And his style and he's so refined that it looks amazing. But when you're not refined and you're like, no, less is more. No, less is more because you suck. Like, it's not like, do the hard trick.
I don't know. Look at like a Cos Lemons. You know, it's like,
he's incredible. But he's incredible.
I don't know. He's incredible. He's not like, he's not a Kuzik. He's not a Luif. He's like, current generation. Less is more. Fuck, it's beautiful.
Yeah. But another thing about Cos, though, he uses the winch. If you look at Cos, you don't see it, but he's hauling ass at all these spots.
Oh my God, it's insane.
And so if you think about this, everybody went away from the winch. It's all about natural speed. And people are fucking, you're just not going to be able to hit cool shit if you're only hitting natural speed. Whereas you look at Cos, he's hitting a winch. He's fucking hauling ass into the spot. You look back in the day, 2012 real snows, people are hauling winches around and they're hitting huge shit and I think that the only natural speed works for some people, but it's not making for a better clip. That's for sure.
I have a big opinion about this too.
Okay.
These homies who are like, I'm pure organic, natural speed only.
Yes.
It's because you are privileged enough to have the resources to go all over the world to find places to film at that have hills. There's a lot of us who can't do that. And so it's like, yeah, you need a winch, or you need a bungee, or you need a big ass drop-in ramp, or you need your homies to homie tow you in it. This like newfound thing of like, oh, the spot doesn't count if it's not natural speed. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's right.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
That's my prediction actually for Street Forecast is more homie tow-ins.
Ooh,
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. The buddy sling,
lips.
The buddy sling's coming back, no lips.
I like buddy sling, no lip is a good.
It's a good combo.
But again, you think about it. The buddy sling, no lip. You put up a boardy. The fucking winch 40 feet back, and you're cruising in, bro. You're front two in that thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what do you want to see? A front two, or do you want to see a board slide getting on, fucking going 1 mile an hour, fucking just trying to survive? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want to see the buddy sling, no lip, and imported snow.
Yes.
All that's coming back.
You know what? That would be.
We tried to do that in the video, but then Scott showed up with the motorcycle and started towing people in with the
Okay,
motorcycle.
Yeah, that was sick.
That worked.
That was sick.
That was great.
Yeah, that session was insane.
That's dope.
I mean, yeah, or like we'll see more of the no snow spots. Very low snow. I hate that trend, but I'm always like, oh, you're super confident. Good for you.
What's worse, like no snow or like giant reverse cheese wedge landing?
Giant reverse cheese wedge.
Clip's a clip.
Yeah, I think it depends on like what you're going for. Like if it's like a huge gap, like you're gonna need some sort of landing, like street gap or whatever.
Yeah,
you got to put one of those up. Like totally get it, but
whatever it takes.
Yeah,
you know, whatever it takes.
But the thing is with the reverse cheese wedge landing, it's like you can have a landing and you can kind of round it to where it's like it's a bump. And it just looks like a little bit more like a mound of snow. But when people start cutting the edges down, where it's like it's a square edge
Trim it
deal,
up.
and all of a sudden it looks like there's a snowcat came through and bladed that fucker, it ain't helping. It ain't doing anybody any favor.
That comes down to aesthetic. What's your aesthetic vibe? How do you picture the clip in your head? What do you want it to look like?
Yeah.
But whatever it takes at the end.
But I also think a lot of people don't think about that, you know, and it's like if you did think about that is what elevates you to the next level too, you know, where it's like there's a lot of these riders where it's like, you know, not cleaning up the stairs, like definitely put snow on the stairs, but make it look good, you know, pat it down, make the back of the stairs show up, you know, with the landings, round them out, let the landing look a little bit smaller. That way, when you get that photo or when you get that footage, the focus is on the rider, not on critiquing the environment around the spot. Like that's the experience, and that's how you present it in a professional way.
That is kind of funny to think about though. Like that's what, you know, the attention's going to be on, like this, like how the landing looks, but not the freaking like front 5 that you did out of the freaking giant tube with like the 30+ foot drop. You know,
people complain about some crazy shit.
That's wild.
I mean, what takes it's aesthetics again.
Yeah.
It's like what takes your attention. And if you notice the landing and not what the person did, something's wrong.
Yeah.
You look at Lewif, aesthetics. All his video parts are perfect for what he does, and he probably has that vision going into the builds, you know, because there's crazy builds, you know. I'll catch little things out of the side of the clip where like someone ramped a bunch of snow up on this pole because they didn't want to hit that rock or this, and their vision goes back to the aesthetics to where it's like, this is what I want it to look like. I'm going to do the safety precautions, but I'm not going to let that take away from the end result and the creation in the clip. So
totally.
I do also think that realm is something that, you know, photographers and filmers help a lot in. And that honestly should be a role that the film and photographers take on to alleviate some of the responsibility from the riders while the riders are just trying to fucking clip up. Like it's kind of like team group experience, team support, you know?
Sometimes you need a massive landing or a massive lip. Get that aesthetic angle that hides it or doesn't put the focus on that.
Throw a palette in it. But there have been times where it's like, fuck it, throw the trash can in the shot, it hides the lip.
Yeah, and you need the lip to get the shot. It's something that you want to get. You got to work around that. Yeah. You got to figure out those navigations to make it look good.
And it's like, you know, snowboarders are haters. Like guilty as charged. And I'm trying to be more open-minded, but it's an unlearning process, okay? And like I think at our core, what keeps us in kind of cool, or what we think is cool, is that we're critical about things being a certain way, and that keeps it a thing that, you know, fucking is cool. I don't know if that's
that makes sense.
Like you got to be kind of critical, but you don't want to be paralyzed by it, because there are a lot of people that are like, I'm going to do the industry approved trick, and none of my friends will make fun of me if I do this trick on this spot.
None of my friends.
Nobody can make fun of me because it's cool. But then it's like you don't want to go too far in that, because then you lose yourself. You're just trying to fit in. Whereas like Rav is the opposite. So I'm just fucking contradicting myself, really. So
yeah, that was quite the contradiction. Because I was going to be like, what about Rav?
Yeah,
I'm glad you did it to yourself.
You're spitballing. It's a free flow.
I don't even know what the fuck we're talking
about. I do think that
in a pickle, man.
I do think that without opinions, none of us would be in the situations we are. And the same goes for like most of our peers in this landscape. Like without opinions, without drive, without all the things, like it wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, you want to keep it core. You want to like keep it tasteful with how we view that word, tasteful.
Yeah.
And but really at the end of the day, it's just fucking snowboarding.
Playing.
Yeah.
It's so great.
It's such a fucking
so
joke.
Awesome.
We go into
I love it.
stoic philosophy about sliding down the hill on a piece of fucking wood that's basically sledding, but like standing up.
It's just amazing. Everyone cares so much. Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Right.
Because you see so many people, they just don't care. And you know, that's what it comes down to. Everyone just cares.
Yeah.
So
All right, so we're past Dez's birthday party extravaganza. We're an hour past. This is like a Sean White situation. Sean was like, I gotta get out of the booth. We're just dragging it on, but similar. This is very similar. Okay, Benny Pellegrino asks, let's hear a little banter about the subject of TBH ROTY. I don't know what that means. To be honest, to the bomb hole ROTY, the bomb hole rider of the year. Okay, so Dez, who you got for the ladies? Brandon, who you got for the bros? Seth, let's hear who killed it the most for the old heads. Christopher, not my name, it's Christian. Who you got for employee of the year at bomb hole? Wow, that's the last one's the most hard hitting. Dez, looks like you got the floor.
Zoe.
You want to elaborate?
No contest.
She did a lot of contests.
No, yeah. But with this contest, I don't think that there's like a debate over her year. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
So he was, lights
phenomenal.
out.
I'm with you.
Phenomenal.
Lights out.
But also granted, like this year, like once again, we're seeing incredible progression on the non-male identifying side of things, and it's like incredible rail footage coming out, incredible contest writing coming out. I think the formula is once you're able to put most of things together, and that's what Zoe is managing to do, and it's profound, and that's what Rider of the Year should be. It should be who is the most profound.
I like that.
Love that.
All right, Cocard, floor is yours.
For the men?
Yes.
Wow. So there's a
That's
lot to
hard
choose.
this
That's
year.
super hard.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go with my gut on this one and say my brother, Nick Baden. He was out there crushing it. I was by his side most of the year, and I was hands down just like blown away every day we rode together. His eye for what he wanted to do, and then his ability to just fucking do it, like, and seeing the work that he put in, like, yeah, that's my pick.
Like it.
Oh, I'm sweating bullets. I don't even know. It's so hard. I haven't really even asked myself this question, so I don't know. I seriously don't know. I mean, like, and I'm a bit like, I don't know, not really I guess maybe biased for sure.
You're definitely biased.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. I mean, is it opinion or is it like, are we trying to spit facts?
Just go with your gut.
Yeah, I don't know. I seriously
from the
don't
heart.
know. I think Torgeir had an incredible year. Just like watching his transformation from going contest riding into the backcountry and what he put down. I've literally watched that video. Like, I'm a huge Torgeir fan anyways, but and he's our team rider, and it's like so proud of him just to watch that go down. So, but like when I look at like what was rider of the year, and there's so many different things. Like, is it ATV of the year? Is it contests and video parts mixed? Is it street? And there's the it's just so broad. That's why I'm sweating bullets and I don't have an answer. So, I mean, I'll go with my biased answer and I'll give it to Torgeir for sure.
Respect that answer.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
I think the two names that are also in contention that are not mentioned, you got Jed Anderson, Ender Ride Video. I think he would get it. It would be obvious if he hit more jumps. I think if he had done like a front nine if he went to Pyramid Gap and like did a front nine or something or whatever, that's a random trick. But like if he did, put his flag in the ground for some backcountry bangers to round it out, I think it would be no contest. But who I think's actually going to win it, for Rider of the Year would be Travis. With the his footage that he put out in his video part and then like natural selection and kind of everything, I think that he'll be the one to take it. And that line where that 3-trick line that was just ridiculous, So
Yeah.
That's my take on that. And then what the question that Benny Pellegrino had for you was, who killed it the most for the old head, Seth? Who's old head rider of the year?
Who's old head rider of the year?
And your name's in this hat.
No way. Who did anybody put anything out?
Mikey, got a cover, dude.
duh.
Come
Mikey.
on.
Oh God.
I have some other names.
LeBlanc. And his unused footage from Brighton when he did the rock wall ride drop in. I'm like, why? I mean, it's amazing. It ends up in Blake's video. I'm like, where does this not do it? But yeah, definitely Mikey. Sorry, I spaced that.
I'm gonna throw a curveball at you guys. Otterstrom.
Wow.
Oh, always
Shadow.
though.
Otterstrom.
Insane.
He's kind of Yeah, he didn't. I mean, he's an old head, but he never stopped.
He never stopped.
He never slowed down.
If Chado lived in
kinda-
Salt Lake, like I think it'd be like a different combo.
Yeah.
You know, like people, like everybody would.
Somebody's got to defend Colorado's, honor.
He likes Colorado.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong. A couple things wrong with Colorado, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like all of our conversations are like in the bubble.
Yes.
Like a lot of the conversations are like about Salt Lake.
Right.
Yeah.
Salt Lake bubble.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy Jones, Seth, JP, you guys are definitely on the in contention.
I just pop up tents in the
Contender.
Brighton parking lot. That's all I do.
Yep.
Oh, stop.
And then put up fires. That's awesome.
Snowboard more than anybody besides
Yeah,
Shadow,
that's true.
probably. So
Watching Jeremy like get back on board this preseason's been amazing.
Yeah.
Just seeing his he's just like chucking at tricks. I'm just like, dude, like.
homie wants it. And then who you got for Employee of the Year at the Bomb Hole? Wow.
No pressure.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, that's a tough one. I don't know if I can answer that. I wish I had some more Louis Vito media training where I could kind of maneuver myself out of this.
Right.
I mean, Phil the dog is obvious scapegoat, but that's a full Louis Vito situation.
He gets the best boy award.
Yeah. I mean,
Award.
I'm just going to run through Bomb Hole. There's a lot of people behind the scenes. We don't talk about it a lot. So you got Silk D. He edits all of these podcasts, chops up all these Instagram assets. It takes a ton of work. He gets here early, sets up all the cameras, like so much shit going on behind the scenes, going back and forth with the guest and editing the podcast. He puts in work. Jules is the reason why this show happens. Like, I don't answer. I get 7 million emails a day. Jules answers all of them. We have all these different ads, and she coordinates the brands and the ad reads and does the Patreon and the customer service. And like, she's just a fucking superhuman. Drake does all the graphic design, all the logos, the mugs you see here, the Smelling Salt branding, flyers. He's a whiz, and any event showing up, grinding. And Holden Barth, our social media guy, any posts that you see, he writes the YouTube descriptions, which is a ton of work, and adds all the chapters and everything you can scrub through.
Actually, I'm doing.
Oh,
that
you're doing the
one,
chapters.
yeah.
So D might have just nudged.
We have our answer.
Yeah. So and replying to all the messages, and Holden absolutely kills it on so many fronts. And then Danny Spadero ships all the merch, everything that you see, that you get. He writes a note, puts in extra stickers, grinds at all the events, handles also customer service stuff, organizes all the warehouse. He's a grinder. So I don't think there's one person that makes the Bomb Hole work. It's the culmination of everybody coming together for one thing that makes it what it is. And I'm the person that's on the microphone, but it's a fucking group effort. So that's my answer. It's not
Louis
one.
Vito would be proud.
Yeah, he would be proud. That was perfect.
Yeah.
Is Louis Vito then the?
Louis Vito's the employee of the month.
Yeah.
Congrats, Louis. I'll get him a parking spot. We'll fucking paint his name on the curb. So, all right. I think that's been a pretty good show. There's a couple more questions, but we could go on for hours. So I think we could kind of wrap with that. And you guys have any other things you want to talk about? Thank you for the gift, Des.
Yeah, of course. What else do we want to talk about?
It's your birthday.
It is my fucking birthday.
Yes,
birthday.
happy birthday.
Did you get my text?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
Thanks.
You text on air?
Yeah, while I was sitting next to her, I
Yeah,
said happy birthday.
Because I've just been sitting here trying to
Staring
get
at
back
her
to all my
phone.
texts. I'm like, shit,
I
my party's
was like, I'm going to add one more to this madness.
it's kind of fucked.
All right. Well, Seth, thanks for coming down. Appreciate it.
Awesome. It's the 30-year anniversary of Volcom's first snow film, The Garden, this year. So
Wow.
it's kind of cool. That's what the merch is kind of about. But yeah,
For
it's
sale?
sick.
Are you guys selling that?
No, this was Shop Kid promo. So
Wow.
only the Shop Kids. But we have a capsule that's going to be dropping 3/1, like the Garden t-shirts. So I'll be looking for that. But it's cool. It's it's rad. Take it for any kids that do not know anything about the Garden or the old snowboard videos. It's on YouTube. Just check it out. And it's like a birth of jibbing and power riding, and not really the birth of it, but it just highlights such early good stages, and it's a sick video. So one of my favorites of all time. So kind of cool to just put some light on that.
Yeah, you'll realize why Jamie Lynn is an absolute legend when you watch that. Amazing. So check that out. Thanks for coming on. Des, thanks for coming on, chatting with us.
Thanks for having me. I love it.
Been good times. Cocard, appreciate you.
Love you.
Love you too, Doug.
Thank you,
And
Chris. Thank you, Silk.
Silk
Yeah,
D,
thank you, Silk.
My pleasure.
Appreciate you.
It's my job.
yeah.
Not the MVP at the bomb hole, but I do what I can.
Unofficial. We'll do
people's
unofficial.
champ.
People's champ. Okay. All right. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks to all of our sponsors that support the show. We couldn't do this without you. Thank you so much to all of our Patreon members. You guys kick ass. We're able to do this podcast and have fun. And it's because of you guys and everybody that listens and tunes in and subscribes and comments and all that stuff. We really appreciate you guys. And we got another episode coming at you next Wednesday. So thanks for tuning in. Over and out from the bomb hole.
Cut.
Great.